understand that I don't wanna play your game.
The Earth is very flat.
What's going on, everybody? It's Monday, August 23rd, 2021. This is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. Welcome to the show, everybody. We've got Logan's Run, Ian Adams, PJ Cruikshank. Yeah, I was early with the notification today. I got it done and I was like, I'll get it out of the way. Mark Beretta. What's up, Mark? Rob Keane, Page 42, Anthony Burrows, Dan Morris. Hey, Dan. 7 messages, 91 minutes before show start. Yes, it is hard to get in here first, Dan. You are correct. Bill G, what's up? Bill asked about the Afghanistan plane video. Some think is a parade float. I do have those videos queued up to take a look at, and we'll talk about what I'll tell you what I think. Let's see. Research Flat Moon and your pal. Research Flat Moon was first. I think the thumbnail must have triggered that account. So sorry about that. Just calling it like I see it. Sounds good? Awesome. Thank you very much, Bill. All right, guys. Tonight I got a bunch of stuff queued up to talk about, including that Afghanistan plane. Sean Hawkins wants me to debunk something. I've triggered him to the max lately, which has been endlessly amusing. As you know, he's my favorite internet comedian. So that gives me just a bountiful joy and energy. Famous flat earthers. I found a few famous flat earthers and a quote from one surprising one. Don Gio's got something that he wants to show us. Some supposed ancient artifact that was found. And many more things. Flat's always got a video out there. Once he joins, we'll take a look at that if he joins the show sometime this week. But we've got a panel full of people. We've got 30 people in Discord, so let's go. What's going on, everybody? Show started.
What up?
We are live. What's up, Jeremy?
Listen, we're getting pop.
What up, Brandon?
We're getting popping in here 24/7, guys, all day, all night. Come through and come fuck with us.
There you go. Yeah, it's been pretty good.
We got large, medium, and small.
There are long hours where there's no Globe Patrol shills, which is surprising to me. But you guys got to get your schedules synced up. We're having too good of conversations in here. People are enjoying it.
Very good conversations happening in here, absolutely.
Anyway, yeah, it's been nice to see. Let me just call out who's in the room so people know. Allie B. What's up, Allie B? Allie B hasn't been around in a while.
How you doing, Brandon?
What's up, man? Got Biodual, Chad, Chikey, Ellen. I'll come back, Allie. Extremists, Farming Ganja, Effie Walker, Facility Jerry, Geo, Godric. Howdy, y'all. I'm Billy. J711, Jeremy, Carnivore, Kim L, Left Lane, Matrix Media, J, Moon Gazing, Moon Kid, Moyoc Man, Mr. Grimm, V, Omni Uber,
Yeah.
Pope, Sin Cleanser, Rob on the level, Keen, Seek and Find, Silent Zero, Spider Globe, something, Real Bob Dole, and Ziggy and Branch. What's going on, everybody?
That was a
Hell
fucking
yeah.
long list.
First time caller, long time listener. How you doing? No.
Good. What can I do for you, caller? Anyway, I got some stuff to get the conversation started, and hopefully we can get away from the upwards acceleration slowdown argument because it drives me fucking insane. And the first one is, I don't know if you guys have seen this. Some people think that this Afghanistan plane video I'm sharing in Discord now is a float. We'll take a look at it. I won't poison the well by telling you what I think, but I'm sure you've come across this video if you've been on Facebook or Twitter or seen the news. This is at the Kabul airport, I believe. And it is a, what is this? Hercules, I think. It's one of those, C-130 or C-17 maybe. Taking off. There's a bunch of Afghanis running on the tarmac with it. And they're sitting on the wheel well cover for the back wheels. See those guys right here in the center here. They're hanging on, trying to stick their arms in the ports on the side and shit. And many people think that this is a float, that this is some kind of psychological operation, some kind of
Well,
fake.
yeah, I could agree with that. I could agree with that, definitely, because what perfect timing. Right in the middle of all of their oopsies, my mandated, what you call it, isn't working. Seems to be a lot of breakthroughs and variants and different things going on, but let's not focus on that. Let's pull out over here and cause some old, get America focused on looking at this again, the red herring, while we slide a bunch of bullshit past them and tell them, that they have to get boosters forever with passports and all kinds of shit. This is right under your noses while we look at this other thing.
What is the claim, Brandon? That the airplane is fake, or like it's a screen, or is it that the airplane is actually there, but it's just like a show for
That's
the
a blow-up
video?
plane. It's not a real plane.
The claim is that it's actually a float, like a parade float.
Like a blow up, those like rubber blow up plane things that would be put on a float.
It seems to me like that's something that the CIA or somebody would say as a fake conspiracy theory.
Look, he's
so that
celebrating.
when other people start talking about this thing in any other way, they're just conspiratard that thinks it's a float.
Yeah, I want to ask, where did this come from?
They're making plenty enough money off of this.
Hold on. The military has used.
Hold on, Grim wasn't done, guys. Grim wasn't done talking. Hold on. Go ahead, finish up, Grim.
I was just gonna say they're making plenty enough money to use a real ship. I mean, a real plane.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
Okay. This claim, whoever asked that, this particular video is from Flat Out Truth, Terry Eicher.
Well, let's not forget the military. Oh, my bad.
No, I just wanted to ask where the idea, the theory came that it's
these people are morons.
Oh, I didn't trace it back to its origin.
Who coined it?
Yeah, that's really not helpful, Brenda.
Hold on.
Thanks, though.
Hold on. Let's not forget that the military has used inflatable vehicles before in warfare. So
they have.
What is the evidence that this is a float?
Yeah. So that's the video. Here is a video of an actual C-17 taking off, and let's see how similar it is to the float. I'll just speed it up to where it's close. It comes by. Let me see if I can get the side shot.
So you think it's a float?
Here it is. No, I just called it the float just to refer to the other video. But I personally do not think it's a float. Now, he points out a couple things in the video. One is the windows, which at first look, I looked at the windows and I was like, yeah, those do look painted on. Well, these look painted on too, and this is clearly a real plane, a real C-17. So I think it's kind of whatever treatment, or maybe they do have one of these windows painted. I don't know,
it's
but
for the
They're
environment.
all floats.
If you
planning this like years ago, just in case they ever needed to do this.
as a sensible response in different places on Earth, they're going to have different windscreens. So in the hot sunny deserts, they're going to have a darker windscreen. In places like England, up north, cold places, it's not required to have a black, so they'll have a different type.
Your English is very good. How long have you been in the CIA?
I think you have some experience with this sort of thing, don't you, Bio?
Not heavies. My brother. But as far as like the way planes work, yes. But as far as cosmetics, no. I would just refer to unrelated pictures and videos and compare those.
Yeah, so that's what I took a good long look at this one. I took a good long look at the other one. And he does also point to people that are sitting. They seem to be just kind of chilling on this back part here. And you can't see the flap in the other video. Here, I'll show you. So it's kind of deceiving when you look at it. You're like, what the hell are those guys standing on and sitting on? Like right here, all these guys, this guy's on his phone. You can see the edge of it right there. You can see they're sitting on something. but I could see how you could mistake that undercarriage and the way that wheel well is for some kind of float device. It very much does look like the bottom of a float, just looking at this plane. Like if you've ever been in a parade and looked at them, it's kind of a similar setup, to be honest. They got a couple tires down here and it's low to the ground.
Like the bottom of that plane, though. That's what they look like.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying they look similar to the bottom of a float. If you've ever been to the float, this just the plane itself, the real plane.
Yeah, sure.
Like how it's low to the ground.
Yeah, like a low rider, low exposure, whatever the fuck it's called.
Low clearance, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got low clearance, and then you can see there's plenty of room to stand and sit on this thing.
There's a video
until they put the wheels away, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
there's a video of the guy sitting on that thing, Brandon.
Yeah. That's in the video. That's what I just showed. They're sitting right here on this thing.
No.
Guys
there's
are
a video.
On that wall and stuff.
There's a video. Hold on. There's a video of the guy that is sitting right there. He's filming from that position to the people that is, and he's sitting on that part of the airplane.
Oh, there's a video from one of these guys.
Yes. I'll see what I can find too. Sure, that sounds interesting.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many videos are there showing the plane going up and dropping the people in the air to the ground? How many shots of that?
One. I seen one.
I've only seen one myself too. I would imagine there's more though, because a lot of these people have cameras and phones.
That particular plane stopped on the runway, if I recall correctly.
Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
We only have one because they're trying to show you what they're trying to show you. That's what I said.
I don't know if I'm too quiet. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
They're
hear
coming good. You sound good.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bob.
So the news has been portraying, from what I can see, this video that you're showing of the people running by the plane stuff. The story seems to be that these people are desperately trying to get out of their country and escape. Is that the story that you guys have been hearing about this?
Yes. No, I didn't hear a particular narrative about these people that are on the runway. This is not, if they may have said that if somebody else heard it. That's not what it appears to me when looking at this video. It looks like they're celebrating this plane leaving.
If you see that guy right there, he runs past the camera, looks towards the direction, smiles and waves like they're celebrating or doing something fun.
Yeah, they're watching the U.S. finally leave.
They might have been told, we're going to do a shot for a movie, or we just need you guys to run near this plane, jump on ride if you want, or whatever. The video does not look like people panicking trying to leave their country because they're so desperate to get out before they're killed or anything.
No, it doesn't.
No, they're happy that the U.S. is leaving. They're not like that. They're going, yay! They're finally getting the fuck out of here.
And that could be one argument, sure.
They could be
one
happy
argument.
That the plane,
they're clearly happy.
Could be happy that the plane stopped. They could be happy
there's
that
a
the
few
plane
people
stopped.
There's a few people that look directly at the camera, wave their hands, smile, and then if you look at the rest of the people, not so much. And then you see the people on the wheel wells. They don't look too happy. They look like, I'm trying to be on here safe. So there are people that smile, but it's like 3 people that look at the camera.
They look like dumbass young men who think they're doing something cool.
Yeah,
and in the back though, why would you be on your phone if you're about to take flight? Why would you be on your phone? Why would you be on your phone if you're about to take flight?
Why wouldn't you be?
Why not?
Why wouldn't you be?
Why wouldn't you?
Because you're about to fall off.
You're because
this is the only way you can record your experience.
Take off. You're fleeing for your life allegedly, and you're just gonna not hold on to the plane or anything. You're just gonna sit there.
It's just taxiing right there.
Take off allegedly. Right.
Okay. Yeah, it's still going to be about 10 minutes before it actually gets up to speed. This is just a taxiway. This isn't the runway.
So there is something in this video. I didn't notice this before. Whatever video he sourced, and I don't know who it was from, says Afghans sprint alongside a U.S. military aircraft attempting to take off, an apparent attempt to prevent it leaving without them. That is not what it looks like they're doing to me.
That's bullshit. Yeah.
So this is how they frame it in this video.
It looks exactly like what they're doing, and they're happy because they succeeded in preventing it taking off.
Without them.
For the time being.
Without them. That's an important
photographs
modifier
with the
there,
people on the inside.
Brenda.
There's photos with the people on the inside.
So what's that got to do with the people on the outside?
That they couldn't get in, so they're trying to stop it so they can get in. I mean, that's pretty reasonable.
Is that what it looks like they're doing?
Yeah, they're putting people on to weight it down, and they're also trying to get in front of it to attempt to get the pilot to stop it. The same way you would try to get a car to stop, you just get in front of it and then try to.
So we just all lit them
Has
all
anybody
on?
seen any interviews with these people that were actually participating in this?
That's what they're trying.
Right,
Has anybody seen any interviews with these actual people? These people.
Do people think that the Taliban have a positive reputation for being nice to people?
Why would you ask a stupid question like that? What's your point?
Well, percentage brings that up,
But do you think that they would have good reasons for not wanting to be around when the Taliban takes
Yes,
power?
I do. Of course, all the people that we told, all the people we said, help us, work for us, we'll protect you, and left behind and left all their information back in the embassy and left all the payment stubs in the fucking bank for the Taliban to come along and find and then hunt those people down, you know, those translators and people who work for us over there, and kill them and their families, those people?
Yeah, what part?
Yeah, they would be motivated. They would be motivated to try to get onto any plane that's leaving.
Why are you trying to frame this so hard as these people are trying to get on this plane? You don't know what the fuck all these people motives are. There's like 400 people here.
Right, but that's the point. We can't make a conclusion like that. So when it's brought up that they're happy that America is leaving, there is counter arguments to that. We can't know for 100% sure. All we can do is speculate.
We're at one of those places,
and that's what we have been doing.
We're both right.
That's the conversation, right?
Some people are probably not.
And that's been the
Just like in the real
conversation.
world.
But Brenda here is the one saying that it is in fact they trying to leave.
I think it's
No matter how much I
reasonable. I
turn
think
him
it's
down,
more
he ends up
reasonable.
back
I think
up.
it's more reasonable than the counter hypothesis.
Go ahead, Grim. Okay.
Oh, I'm not trying to say anything anymore. The time has passed. I just,
Your mic's a little low. I think that's why you get stepped on.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
Thank you.
my conclusion after watching this is this. I don't see enough evidence here to say that this is a float, and it does look like a real plane. And then there is video of it taking off and people falling off, supposedly. If those were people, I can't tell you that I looked at the video close enough to tell whether those were actual human beings falling off, but I assume so if they're all clamoring on this plane like idiots.
I don't think there's anything clear enough. You do see specks, and I think it's 3 total, but you can't really make out a particular shape.
Yeah.
Or at least
so the truth will come out. I would caution everybody to be careful consuming the propaganda that's coming out about this Afghanistan thing right now, because there are people trying to frame it as many different things at this point for their own political bias. But I don't think that this is real. I don't think that's what Terry was doing. I don't think he was trying to frame it for a political reason, but I do think that he's incorrect about this one.
You want to know another part of it is the tail number 1109, something 911. That's another part of the thing.
Oh man,
that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, that settles it.
That's pretty interesting right there.
Stupid coincidences, right?
Yeah.
Brandon, I'm gonna DM you a video. I don't recommend putting it on your stream, but it's apparently a video from inside the plane looking out the window. And I'll type the rest of the details. I don't want to say or show it on stream.
Okay. So anyway, anyone else have an opinion? Let me read. Somebody did have an opinion and they super chatted. Godzilla 37, $5. We can use made up numbers to prove things. Brenda, August 2021. Have a good show, Brandon. Thank you very much, Godzilla. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard you say that,
that,
Brenda. That's a good one.
Yeah, I never said that.
Oh, sure. Okay, so that's that. I just wanted to bring that up. Anybody else have anything to say about that before we move on?
It says AMC. Woo! No.
Is the tail light say 11.9?
1109.
I can't be sure Brendan never said that.
Famous flat earthers. Chat troll was asking me what flat earthers ever did in the world, what they accomplished. And
I don't know about. Oh,
maybe not.
Sorry.
What
they've accomplished
also,
wasting all of you ballers' time.
yeah, that's for sure. Keeping a
I don't know in
few
Afghanistan.
troll factories busy.
Novak Djokovic.
Here we go. I'll skip past these guys. George Bernard Shaw. Did anybody realize that this dude was a globe skeptic? I didn't. Here's the quote. Are we all just sheep who've been tricked by actual pictures of outer space? George Bernard Shaw thought so. He reportedly said, we are more gullible and superstitious today than we were in the Middle Ages. And an example of modern credulity is the widespread belief that the earth is round. The average man can advance not a single reason for thinking that the earth is round. He merely swallows this theory because there is something about it that appeals to the 20th century mentality.
That's actually that's consistent with a belief that the earth is round still. It could go either way.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like he's just saying, yeah, people believe it, but they don't have any reason to believe it. They just believe it.
Exactly. He's attacking their reasoning, not the conclusion necessarily.
Possibly. I can see that interpretation. Yep. That's fair to say.
It could be that he's a flat earther.
Bad argument.
Well, also, if he passed away in 1950, so whenever he said that would have been obviously pre-1950. So back then, I mean, at least now they have what they are claiming are pictures of the globe or whatever. Back then, they didn't have anything. They were just saying it's a globe. So it makes even more sense that he was saying that there's no evidence for it.
Well, or it could simply be that he was a poet and a playwright and didn't actually know anything about science.
I mean, think about this. If you did not have pictures
from
NASA, if you didn't have this huge, infrastructure of NASA and all that, like, the globe argument would be a lot different.
You would have to
no, it would be exactly the same
or something. But yeah, we would have the same arguments.
Didn't he state people are more gullible in the modern day than the 1950s, though?
Yeah.
He died
so it's a more recent quote than the 1950s.
Without NASA, the globers have nothing.
He died in 1950.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
Actually, you're the center. Hey, Brenda, do you remember when I asked you, can you please present some evidence to support your globe? And you presented a photo from space. So that does appear to be all you have.
That's just that's
a really
evidence.
good one.
That's just
no, I said your
evidence. You
best
asked for
evidence, and you posted a picture
So
from
without
space.
that evidence, what do you have?
That's the best evidence possible.
Then you don't understand what good evidence is.
We have to have a lot of faith in NASA to tell us what the Earth looks like from space.
Why
because
is
we can't go
a
there ourselves.
photograph not good? Why is a photograph not good evidence?
Because you have to trust the source, and it's possible to fake a photograph.
That could be any planet.
Possible to fake anything.
Good
That
point.
could be a photo of any planet.
That's why we're looking
I don't
for
know what the
scientific
hell that is.
proof. See how that works?
We have that too.
Something
I
we can
didn't hear
prove here on the
anything you
ground for ourselves and not have to rely on a big government
that.
agency to tell us what's up.
Well, we can.
How do we know that's Earth? We don't see a picture of us on the Earth looking back at us.
Yeah, that's the argument I made, right, Grim?
If we document how the picture's taken, we can watch that big rocket go up there and do it.
That's not even
Notice
Earth.
how I said a picture of us on the Earth, like the two pictures, verifying.
Well, that would be pretty convincing, to be honest, if they had a picture of me on the blue marble
on
waiting.
Earth,
You
taking a
would still deny
picture,
it.
waiting for you to zoom in on it.
Well, I think if the Earth was a globe, we would have that. I mean, if there's all these satellites and all these high definition cameras that they're claiming, you should be able to get all kinds of shots of the Earth. You should be able to zoom in and see buildings in Australia
License plates.
upside
I used
down.
to think that
You would have to see all that.
I used to
We
think
do
that
have.
I used to
So,
think that a
hey,
camera
let's not
on the
start
moon
the
would-
over talking, please. Go ahead, Jeremy.
My bad. Was that me?
No,
I don't know.
I had my volume down low. Listen, I used to think a camera on the moon would solve this whole thing, but I have no idea that they can take several pictures of Earth and then put them together however they want. You know what I mean?
You ever hear of a panorama, Jeremy?
Yeah, I've heard of it, Brenda. Why? What's the point? Why do you say dumb shit all the time?
So, yeah. So, what is a panorama? It's several pictures stitched together.
Okay.
Does that mean that the subject of the picture doesn't exist?
Oh, I'm just saying they could take reality, put it into whatever kind of image they want, and it would be actually Earth. So if they had a picture of you standing on Earth or you shooting a laser beam or whatever in real, like, you know, near real time, that wouldn't surprise me.
But you can just go watch a rocket launch.
Of the trajectory of it go, and have you ever seen a rocket launch where the trajectory goes back towards Earth?
No. It doesn't go back
down.
It goes
It doesn't go back down.
For Jeremy.
My wife's mocking me. Listen, the trajectory is clearly going back down.
Not
No,
when you
it's
watch it
not.
from a plane.
Around
If you
the
watch
Earth, around the horizon.
if you watch these launches from a plane, especially just commercial regular ass people filming it, you do see that it's just going at an angle, but it's never going towards Earth. It's continuing to increase elevation by a lot.
Regardless, no one is here saying that rockets aren't launched, are they? Is anybody making a claim that rockets aren't a thing?
Some flat earthers do.
Oh, did anybody hear?
Yeah. Jeremy said that rockets come back down to Earth. Yeah.
They do look like they come back down. Yeah, the trajectory
some
does
months
look
later,
very
sure.
deceiving.
Some weeks later.
That's true.
They clearly look like they're, if you take a time lapse or a long exposure shot of a rocket launch, it clearly looks like it's coming back down most of the time.
We don't have
Almost
any
always.
shots from the other end, though. If it were coming back down to
I
Earth,
know.
you would have a photo of a rocket upside down launching straight into the Earth.
I remember we talked about this, I think last year or maybe the year before, and we found some videos where, and because I used to, when I was a kid, lived near Cape Cod, Satellite Beach, and all that. We could watch the shuttles go off.
And Cape Canaveral.
Sorry, did I say Cod again? Yeah, Canaveral.
You did that last time too.
I did, didn't I? It's like I've lived too many different places. But on boats, they take video of the rockets coming towards them, right? And the video on land at the same time as the times are going, the video on the land is showing the rocket is already starting to go down, but the people on the boats that are out in the water are seeing the rocket still coming up at them. So it kind of like made it solid for me that it's still going up. It just looks now, since it's going around the curve, like it's going down.
Not to mention when you watch rockets and how they're explained how to get into space, we know they orbit Earth before they get into low Earth orbit. So they would be following the curvature of Earth as it orbits to get into space.
Listen, you're in a numpty clip, not knowing if a rocket is even matter. So I don't think you should even be speaking on this.
Really, Jeremy?
Because what I'm saying is exactly how it works and how it's observed.
Right.
Is a rocket matter though? I mean, do we know?
And this is how the conversation gets into bad faith. You know it, Jeremy.
So anyway, the argument was, well,
so funny,
we don't have to trust NASA's pictures. We can see a rocket launch.
It's true.
Amateur rock, you can watch amateur.
Okay, we can watch a rocket launch. How does that make NASA's pictures real? How does that make the pictures any more real?
NASA.
So what? They're all.
Well, you can launch a weather balloon.
We're not going to trust NASA, but we're going to trust SpaceX.
You could, yeah, that's right.
Is that the idea?
You could.
SpaceX isn't NASA.
The idea is if they're documenting the whole process of taking the photo and you can watch them do the hard part, then it makes sense to trust the photos.
How would that be the hard part?
The hard part is the massive rocket. The hard part is not just putting a camera on the massive rocket.
No,
there are
how would that be the
from
hard
launch
part of
to-
the whole thing? Launching a rocket up. We don't even know how high this thing's going up.
Yeah, we do.
I have
Depends
no
on the
doubt that
rocket.
rockets are being shot up to 60
What?
miles. That seems pretty solid.
Somebody needs to
Could be higher.
ball of yarn.
I don't know.
I mean, you can see
measure
the
it.
space station. In
The
orbit.
trick is-
I mean, they're going up high and fast.
The trick is to tie those photographs to what we see from the ground of this rocket. And I don't think you can do that.
There are videos from launch to space.
Fuck that. Why don't we just strap Brenda on one of those rockets just to make sure this is happening and then let her record that shit for everybody?
Let's do it the most basic way, Brandon. You brought up a good point. Is verifying the authenticity of these pictures of Earth with reality. There are many ways that you could do that and have been done, especially during the Australian wildfires. They were used to coordinate responses to where the fire was expanding, as well as particular cloud formations that are coming from a particular direction shown by the satellites, and then being able to verify those cloud formations on the Earth for further verifying that these pictures are authentic. Because not only are they predicting
photography.
Right. In a world of possibilities, anything is possible. What I'm
No,
saying
that's
is
not not far fetched. Actually, that's more possible than you have a satellite up in space continually falling around the Earth.
It's not more
you have a
plausible
plane
because
taking
then you would have a
pictures, or you have some kind of
conspiracy.
device up there taking high altitude
How would
pictures.
they-
We know that happens.
Right.
Then you would
High
also
altitude,
have a
a couple
conspiracy
hundred miles.
of spy planes just to monitor fires, just to corroborate a space program. It makes no sense.
That's not my argument. That's just something you just made up.
It is required for your argument.
So that's a
No,
no,
it's
on
not.
my idea then.
Kind of grim.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I'm surprised Brenda didn't say that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
So another way to validate that the rockets are going into space is the change in the exhaust when they enter into space.
Why would that prove that they're going up into space? First of all, what do you define as space?
Oh, Brenda's got a point there.
Past the karma line.
Is the
Yeah,
low pressure,
yeah.
low pressure that's outside of it.
Yeah. When they enter
Okay.
into low pressure area, the
Well, no
exhaust.
one's denying that you can shoot something up higher than 60 miles. No one's denying
But it
that.
really ionizes
So
and
that's
starts to
space.
glow.
That's space.
The shock
Okay,
wave.
then big deal. So they can go up higher than 60 miles. So what?
So that's the hard
they're
part for
safe.
taking a picture of the Earth is putting the big fucking rocket in space.
Okay, they can take a picture of Earth from 60 miles. So what?
So
We've seen that before.
Done.
That's a
No,
very
it's
small
not.
part. It isn't?
No.
What?
How
what
far
have you
away
seen
were
that-
they when they took the blue marble?
Really?
And
fucking far.
and even if they did shoot a rocket up there, and I say, yeah, they go 60 miles up, they take a picture of Earth. Well, why does that mean I should trust the picture that they give me?
I just gave
someone
you
did an
reasons.
experiment, you watched
It
the
doesn't
video
give me
part
any
of it.
reasons. It
Well,
comes from the
I didn't know
government.
they
I don't
could get out
trust the
there.
government. NASA's part of the
Shows it.
government. I don't care how many times you say SpaceX
Yeah.
is its own corporation.
Yeah.
They're
But that's-
quasi-government. They
called
might
a-
as well
Yeah.
be government. They're a government contractor.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
For all
how
that's,
do
intents
you
and
that's
purposes.
just called a genetic fallacy. That's just
I
called
totally
a
agree.
genetic
No, it's not a
fallacy,
genetic fallacy.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not,
Yes, it is.
because
No.
the source that I am denying is one that has lied to us over and over again.
Right, and
that's-
I gave you a way that you could verify it, because these pictures, if they're taking a picture of your area, around your area, you can see particular cloud formations, and if they take a series of pictures, you can see the direction of these cloud formations, and you can say, well, according to these possibly fake pictures that they're taking in my area, there should be this big ass cloud formation that's coming. I could probably estimate it given the distance that it covers between these two pictures and the timestamps that they gave for the pictures. I should expect to see it in 46 minutes. 46
But I'm not
minutes go by
denying
and you
high
have this
altitude
cloud formation,
photography,
and
Bio.
there you go.
I'm not
Yeah, I know,
denying
but
high
you're
altitude
conflating
photography.
these two things. You're conflating all
No,
these
you
things
guys
in
are
which you
conflating
just said,
these
how
two
do we
things.
verify it? Why do we have to believe them for these pictures? And I just explained how you
I'm
can
not
verify
talking
it.
about
And then
those
you immediately
pictures.
go, well, it's high altitude.
I'm not talking about those pictures of clouds and pictures of smoke from wildfires. I'm not denying that you can take high altitude pictures of those things. What I'm saying is that I don't trust the evidence that they provide that shows this supposed ball Earth that we're supposed to live on.
But you're saying
Those are two
cloud
different
formation
things.
evidence that shows that it's a ball Earth. That's the problem.
With
There
the
isn't.
MRI 8, you can see it.
You're saying it can be
Himawari
real,
8
but
is stitched
I
together
don't trust them,
sources
so it's
of
not real, is what you're
different
saying.
data and pasted onto a reference that looks like what you guys imagine the Earth is. That doesn't prove
Right.
shit.
Right.
What
In
do
the
you
world of
envision
possibility,
happening?
anything is possible. You're right.
What do you envision
No,
happens, Brandon?
Don't act like that's far-fetched. That's totally
incredibly
possible with the
far-fetched.
technology
It's
we
very
have.
far-fetched.
It's
also
It's not.
fallacy.
If you're going
It's
to,
only
all you've done is
far-fetched.
create a Google Earth for weather. That's all you've done with
Okay, so
Himawari.
is it not possible to get 120 miles away from Earth? 400 miles. You're acknowledging that it didn't get
Maybe.
60 miles.
I have
so
no
is it-
idea.
Okay. So
Well, why not
you don't.
learn that?
And you're saying you didn't. What it is you don't know, and you're saying it's not real just based on nothing. Because if they can do
No,
60,
not
then
based
they can
on
probably
nothing. No,
okay.
stop.
If they
Not
can
based
do,
on
I'll ask it
nothing.
again.
Based on the
I'll
source
ask
of the
it again.
data that we've gotten so far and their history as renowned liars.
But you just said
Yeah.
it's possible that they can do it from 60 miles. Is it
They
possible
can
they can do
take
it from
pictures of
120?
Earth from 60 miles. Yes, I believe they can get up to 60
Is it
miles.
100?
Yeah,
Is it possible for them to do it at 120 miles?
it's possible. Sure, I don't know.
Kilometers?
Is it possible for them
Maybe.
to do it at 500 miles?
I don't know. I don't know how high they can
Whoa.
get up.
Okay, if you don't know, then it is possible that we are getting images of a globe Earth, right? It's possible.
It's possible. Sure.
Okay, so then you can't say it's not real. It's not. It's fake.
Well, no.
what
That's
he's
not how
saying
it
is
works.
he
Just
doesn't
because I
believe
can't
it.
say something is impossible doesn't mean I have to accept that it's real. That's ridiculous.
At the
Right.
same time, you cannot say that it is in fact that what you're claiming to be.
Yeah. He said your argument was, well, it's possible, therefore you have to believe it.
No.
Yeah, it
I
was.
know
No, we're
corroborated
saying
by
it's
something
evidence.
else.
It's evidence.
So what? Anything
yeah,
can be
it-
The
evidence.
simplest
It's
explanation
all
by
about the
far
quality
is
of the
that they
evidence,
put a
isn't it?
rocket up there and took a picture.
Then
That's
if you don't
by
know,
far
then
the
you
simplest
say if you
explanation.
don't think it's impossible, then you have to acknowledge that you can't say that they're not real.
I said
It's
I don't
possible.
trust them.
It
I don't accept them as
Okay.
evidence because of the source they
But
came
so
from.
okay, but if you see an image of the globe, is it real or you don't know?
Yeah.
Or is it
Well,
fake?
when it comes down to it,
argument that he's
You're
making
missing
For
his
me,
argument, Sean.
I don't.
Brandon,
My belief
anything is real and
is
anything is
that it's not
possible.
real. There is some possibility that I'm wrong, of course.
Listen,
But
I think Brandon, can I clear this something up? Can I ask you, Brandon, if you trusted the government, then would this be sufficient evidence? Sufficient.
No.
Well, no, I mean, like I'm
Why
trying to
not?
make this point because the fact that you don't trust them because you've caught them lying in the past about almost everything, that gives you sufficient reasoning to not trust on firsthand this evidence, right? Isn't that what you're saying?
But that's still personal incredulity, which is not an argument.
It's
Well,
not personal incredulity.
But it's a survivability
literally
thing,
what it
right?
is.
Because if you know that this guy's in prison for poisoning people, right? And he's been in prison for poisoning people a lot of times, would you hire him to prepare your dinners for you? Like this is like I think what he's trying to say. Like I'm not trying to accept their data, knowing
Okay,
that these are the ones who've been
All
poisoned.
incredulity.
What you just said and what he said is that he's caught them lying about almost everything. What lies has he caught them doing?
Are you going to sit there and make me list out the lies that the government has told us over the years? Are you serious?
Aren't you a black male in the U.S.?
No, but what I'm highlighting, Brandon, is like, there's no, that,
I mean,
you're saying
Shut up,
that there's
RC.
no
Someone's
amount of
talking.
evidence.
Shut the fuck up, RC.
There's all kinds of government shit that is portrayed. Like for somebody to say, no, it's unusual. Like the Tuskegee experiments and all the things that have gone on in the name
MK
of
Ultra.
government.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are
The wars they get into us. They lie us into.
Those aren't none of either
Incubator
one of those
babies.
Absolutely tiny.
And I can go right now and I can pull up more than sufficient evidence and documents showing that they did do the Tuskegee experiments and did screw a lot of people over. I can show that right now, taking less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, you're going to give us a reason not to trust them? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to prove to us that we're right not to trust them?
No, so this conspiracy would require hundreds of millions of people.
You've caught them lying
And
about
they couldn't
everything.
keep the Tuskegee one secret.
Okay, but then I ask, okay, well, can you show me?
Oh yeah. You're jumping on the word everything, taking it colloquially.
Yeah, because
right, that's petty. You know better than that.
No, it's not. Because
that's just classic.
Grim, can I finish what I was going to say? Grim, can I finish?
Of course, if you want to state the obvious for 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Because every time we get a rocket launch, every time they show a satellite image and they say every single one of them is fake, and I ask, okay, how do you know that's fake? Can you show me the sufficient evidence showing that it is fake?
That wasn't my argument, by the way. Wasn't my argument that every single satellite image is fake.
I was just arguing what Grim was.
It's required for your argument.
No, Grim wasn't saying that bullshit either. So that's not.
If you don't understand that, that's a problem.
Billy, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Lurk more, motherfucker. You haven't been around long enough.
I can reason and you can't. I'm sorry that's not fair.
All right, you're done, Billy.
Lurk more.
Anyway,
You know, Sean, yeah, no, I wasn't saying rocket launches are fake. What are you saying, man?
But you were saying that you were kind of.
I figured you were coming in a little
elaborating
hot.
on
You
what
misunderstood
Brandon
what was
saying.
going on.
No, I don't understand what was going on. I
No,
know
I'm talking
you
about
were
the
saying-
picture of the entire Earth, right? And him
Yeah.
not having reason to believe in it. And I'm saying, is this your position, Brandon? And I asked him, and then you jumped in, fiery, acting like I'm trying to prove something.
No,
Yeah, and so that's why I was thrown
I didn't know
back
you
by
were
why
asking
you were
him.
so
I thought
fired
you
up.
were. I thought you were
Yeah,
giving. You were explaining what he was trying to explain. I didn't know you were
I was asking him if that's what he was trying to explain, so I could get more clarity on his position.
What was the question? I'll answer it. You don't remember?
Clarity on the position of, yeah, I do. Clarity on the position of whether or not, or your reasoning behind not accepting the evidence of the photos of Earth, because this government of ours, is it, and then I went on to say, is it because of this government of ours has been caught lying at about almost everything at one point or another.
Yeah.
And then I meant that colloquially, Sean. That means a lot of different fucking things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just that.
And I can't think of a single institution in this country that isn't corrupted in some way.
It doesn't
Not just
follow
that.
that therefore
So
they're lying
the
about this.
evidence of the photo would require more strength than just the photo.
Is 99% against everyone's everyday experience.
Yeah, that's another good point. This is an extraordinary claim. I need more than pictures from the government in order to believe this.
And I think that's reasonable, Brandon, to say, like, okay, I need more than pictures. But we can then look up and say, okay, well, they say they're satellites. Can I see them? Okay, yeah. Can I watch them be put into space? Yeah. Is there video of the satellites being put into space?
Hey, RC,
yeah.
Stop right there. Let me answer you. If we were living on a flat plane, and would we need airborne devices in order to, I don't know, spy, watch the weather, look at the ground, shoot signals across? We would still require some kind of devices suspended up in the air above us somehow, would we not?
I would know. I don't believe that the Earth is flat. So
No, I think you're pretty smart and you can think this one through. Let's just pretend for a minute that we live on a flat plane. Do you think it'd still be advantageous for us to have airborne devices, electronics and such? Yeah. So what does the existence of said devices have anything to do with the shape of the Earth then?
Brandon, you cut me off earlier. Let me make my point. The point isn't like, can I conjure up some other fantasy about why maybe I'm seeing what I'm seeing? The question is there any evidence that I can
you're done too. Fucking dishonest fuck.
Brandon,
It's this attitude shit with this fantasy.
I can answer that question, Brandon, because when
What
I
the
was like,
fuck,
actually,
dude?
that was one of the things I had to try to figure out. And the only issue I could see, I found when it comes to things that we would use, satellites, spy, weather, and all that stuff, is we know that they can go past this Kármán line because of how fast they travel. We would have to figure out, there would have to be a method of being able to travel that fast in the atmosphere of Earth, and I couldn't figure out a way of doing
Isn't that what a fucking rocket does? What the fuck are you talking about? It goes above the atmosphere, right? To release a payload?
But a rocket, if it was a flat Earth and it didn't orbit around, because we can get 24 hours of views of it orbiting, it would have to be orbiting circular above it. It wouldn't be orbiting around it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the problem is if it's there, see, it kind of goes into both sides. Is there space? Is there not space? If there's space, it would still need a way for it to propel itself and move around it, not being how we know orbiting to be as a globe.
That's right. You're correct.
Well, maybe the problem could be solved.
There'd have to be some type of propulsion system.
We would invent it. If we lived on a flat plane, trust me, we would invent it.
Wait, is Sean talking about satellites or rockets?
It doesn't matter. Satellites, rockets.
I don't know. He seems to be saying like there wouldn't be space on a flat Earth. We couldn't.
No,
there wouldn't be. If we're on a flat plane, Sean, the sun and the moon are suspended above the plane somehow, aren't they? The stars.
When I was a flat earther, I believed in space, Brandon. So the idea of space being there and is still the same. It would still would have to work the same way.
An atmosphere up there, Sean. Yeah. There's a pressure gradient or a density gradient to the atmosphere. Yes.
Okay, and then we can both call it low orbit space. But the problem is say when we view the ISS, we can see it traveling across our horizon. And the only way for that to happen is if we could figure out a way to travel for something to travel 17,000 miles an hour constantly around circling above Earth.
If it's as high as you say, yeah.
Yeah, okay. If it's as high as they say, and if that is the case, then that means we would have to have a known propulsion and way to control it circling above us rather than it orbiting and falling as it's explained now.
Yep. Have you seen those videos of the UFOs that have come out recently from the Navy? And the government has had their little people on TV telling everybody about these UFOs and how it's okay for people to come forward. And you've had the pilots and the experts come out and say, these defy all known physics. They move. Hey, what they defy all known physics. We don't know how they're doing what they're doing. There's obviously some technology out there that we don't, as a general public, understand one way or the other. Correct, Sean?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that because there's places, companies like Skunk Works and that work on those type of. I get what you're saying. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong.
Those were gimbal locks.
Huh?
I think I would believe more that UFOs are other countries' advanced technology or our technology that they're working on, rather than aliens.
Natural phenomenon.
How is it a natural? No, I don't think it's a natural phenomenon.
Yeah, they're plasmoids. Volcanoes eject them.
There's no plasmoids. This is a fantasy.
That travel.
There's no plasmoids.
Sea level.
Use your
Wikipedia. Go straight up finger and go directions. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's possible for him.
Yeah, they do. They're magnetic entities.
Well, is there something we could look at that shows these plasmoids doing this?
Yeah, there's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Looking it up.
You want me to search something here, Grim?
I'm asking you, where would I look for that then?
Yeah, there is. There's lots of stuff. I don't even have to give you anything particular. I can just say go look it up since I don't have.
Okay, what would I?
I'm on my phone, man. I mean.
Okay, no, I'm asking you.
Let's look up the definition of plasmoids, right?
Okay.
And then look up volcanoes ejecting plasmoids.
Okay, and will I see these things going in every direction?
Yeah, there's videos of this, of how they line up and they take how they interact with each other, how they, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was asking. I wasn't asking you to share it right this second. I was asking if there was a source that I could see this happening.
For sure.
Okay.
And it's an old folklore and shit. These balls of light moving around, and people think they're aliens and shit.
Like ball lightning.
There's like ball lightning. Yeah, there's lots of different types of plasmoids.
Ball lightning isn't confused with UFOs. We know what ball lightning is.
No,
we know it's real.
Yes,
ball lightning doesn't always look exactly like each other ball lightning.
But it also doesn't look like
UFOs.
A solid black. It doesn't look like a solid black object either.
But a plasmoid.
Ballers stepping their game up today. Hey, Godzilla 37, $5. BS, Brenda, you said to, I'll have to read that to Brenda. Said it to me in this very chat about a week ago. You are a snake, buddy. I'll make sure to read that to her. Thank you very much, Godzilla.
Light, which are confused with UFOs or about to be UFOs.
It's right in the name. It's plasma, right? Confined by magnetic lines of force.
What is the claim that these Navy things that they're reporting on are maybe plasmoids? Is that what you think, Grim?
Yeah.
Well, they're not. That. That's what he's saying.
They're not. What are they, Brenda?
Particular. I'm just saying a lot of UFO sightings are.
Well, what came out in the Pentagon report is they suggested that it was other countries' advanced technology being tested and stuff like that, which to me makes Skunk Works more feasible and the stuff that they do. You know what I mean? So like I said, Brandon, when you're saying like about the technology that could be circling above and all that stuff, to me it is more than likely that they have technology capable of those things. It's just, but again, our understanding of how things work and what we do observe tells us this. So until we know that they have a aircraft that can travel 17,000 miles an hour in Earth's atmosphere or lower atmosphere, then I don't have anything.
It wouldn't be in the lower atmosphere. I'm sorry, Sean. Why do you keep saying that this thing would have to travel 17,000 miles per hour in Earth's lower atmosphere? That doesn't make any sense.
It would have, because beyond in low space orbit where the atmosphere is very minimal, it's possible to travel 17,000 miles an hour.
Well, that's where it would be, isn't it? Up 60 plus miles, somewhere up there.
But the thing is
Don't
that
you say it's 240 miles up?
With the way the globe works, and it explained, it only has to get to that 17,000, and then the free fall of gravity takes over after that. But if it's a flat Earth, then it would need to be able to continuously travel at 17,000 under its own thrust. It's under own proportion. Damn.
Yeah.
Propulsion.
Assuming it's going that, it would just have to get up to that speed, right? Because it wouldn't. It wouldn't slow down, would it?
If it's flat Earth, it would have to have a thrust, a continuous thrust.
No. If the Earth is not moving, it doesn't have to go 17,000 miles an hour to mention something that's not moving.
Okay, well, if they're at 60, if they're at, say, where the ISS is, if Brandon, I know it's a back and forth. If that's the distance, it would have to be traveling 17,000. And to be able to be tracked, seen by anyone that wants to do it 24/7 to get around Earth. With the mileage that we know it is, just the distance alone, regardless of if it's flat or a globe, we know the distance to get back to the other side of the Earth. So
I think you're making a lot of very definitive claims right now that we could probably challenge, but I won't. I'll just say that personally, I'm not convinced, and you haven't provided any evidence here that it is for a fact as high as you say it is, going as fast as you say it is, and flying 24/7.
Well, the thing is that
those things could be true. I have no idea what's going on up there. I don't pretend to know what kind of technology the government has.
I believe that is because the extensive evidence that collaborates with.
Yeah, but I know what kind of evidence you globe guys have. It's you got funny math, you got funny geometry. It's just it always falls under scrutiny. That's the problem.
Okay, that's fine.
It doesn't though.
So then what you're
It does
saying
though, Brenda.
is that what we're saying doesn't make sense or it doesn't add up to you. But until you're not giving an alternative, so it's impossible. It's not real. It's you don't know.
We're not giving an alternative until I give an alternative. What? You're just going to believe what you've been told? Is that what you're saying?
There's an easy way to falsify.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let him answer.
I'm going to believe and understand and get an understanding of something that yes, the collaborating with other aspects work, rather than going on an alternative idea of how things work with no evidence.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. That's a personal choice
that's
you
just
have.
Me. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
There's an easy way to falsify the elevation of the ISS, and I brought it up before with two observers seeing it, measuring the angle to the same observation at the same time, and then having a known distance between those two observations. You do the trigonometry, and you can come to a rough estimate of the elevation. And if you don't assume a globe, the distance is actually going to be farther. And if you do account for the globe curvature, the distance will actually be shorter. But in either case, it is at least 250 miles.
What's that with your bendy triangles?
Time will tell.
We don't even have to bend the triangles. You'll get a greater distance with no bendy lines.
Uh-huh.
There are just so many lines
to
of
talk
evidence.
about it by now, but back in the day, they were working on some technology, plasma technology with the military, where they were trying to make laser guided plasma balls that you could use to actually, they could make noise and talk and do all kinds of stuff and burn people's skin and shit. Like you can make the damn thing crackle and make noise and sing and talk and all kinds of shit. I'm sure it's out there in public by now. It's 20 years ago.
Right. So the ISS is above the Earth. It's 200 miles up, and we have video, live video from it showing the globe Earth.
Cool. All right. So let me read a couple things. Godzilla37, $5. BS, Brenda. You said it to me in this very chat about a week ago. You are a snake, buddy. Huh. Maybe you forgot what you said.
I didn't say those particular words. We can prove things with math. Yes.
Okay. I wasn't there. I don't know. The Science of Science, $4.99. This is what I have been saying. People who believe in the globe prefer an imaginary story versus no story at all. We do hear that a lot from you guys that, well, this is the explanation we have. Until you come up with a better explanation, we're just going to believe this one.
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's so cut and dry,
I've heard
but it's
that.
more of a, it's more so when we talk about science. We're not 100% sure of anything. We subscribe to globe. We have great evidence for globe. It's consistent and it doesn't contradict each other. But because it's scientific, it's not guaranteed 100% no foolsies. So yes, if there's something better, please provide it, the evidence, of course.
Yeah, but biodual, isn't your idea of 100% foolproof, the brain in a vat? You take it there, don't you? When I say, well,
in the most pedantic
I know
ways,
that I'm alive, and then you'll say, well, you might be a brain in a vat.
In the most pedantic of ways, I'm 100% confident that the Earth is a sphere. My personal opinion and confidence level is at 100%. When it comes to the scientifically answered part of it, no, it's not guaranteed 100% because there are a lot of unknowns within reality. So the possibility exists, but my confidence is 100%.
What is it that makes you most confident? What's your number one thing, Val?
Consistency with the evidence explanations. Everything that seems to operate, there's consistency and doesn't contradict each other.
You find the lockstep atmosphere consistent?
Yes.
Do you find north to south flights magically gaining velocity? Do you find that consistent?
North to south gaining velocity?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, when you fly north to south, you have to gain tangential velocity in order to catch up to the Earth, essentially, as it turns.
No.
Yeah, you do.
You're just maintaining. You're just maintaining a speed.
No.
You're maintaining an
okay.
altitude,
So
maintaining
the
a heading.
lockstep atmosphere is carrying you along with it. You don't have to worry about that. Then is that right, Bio?
No, that's not how it works.
Shut up, Brenda. Bio, is that right?
So what?
No. There's tangential speeds and everything, but you're just maintaining.
What do you mean maintaining? You go from, I don't know, let's say Anchorage, Alaska. You're at we'll just call it 500 and 1,000 for the sake of argument, okay? And you fly down to the equator at 1,000. What do you mean just maintaining? You need to gain 500 miles per hour in that particular vector that the Earth supposedly rotates in order, by the time you get to your destination, do you not?
Flying in that same lockstep atmosphere that he was just talking about.
Right.
Oh, okay. So the lockstep atmosphere, it automatically gains that tangential velocity from the lockstep atmosphere. Is that correct?
From being in the atmosphere, as you're traveling along, you're gonna be imparted by the forces that are around you. So it's not that you're imparted with 500 miles per hour and you're within the atmosphere. And now you're at the equator and nothing has happened in between. You're going to have the atmosphere imparting its own force of being in lockstep the entire way, and it's consistently affecting you while you're maintaining these speeds and shit.
Really? Well, so why doesn't that work with long-range ballistics? Why is there such thing as the Coriolis effect? If I shoot from north to south, I'll miss my target if the atmosphere is imparting this momentum on me as I go south.
The biggest difference is going to be that the plane has thrust. The plane has surface areas that you can adjust. When we're talking about projectiles and shit like that, it has a one-time imparted trajectory, I guess you could say.
Why does that matter if it has thrust or if it's a one shot? If it's the lockstep atmosphere that is giving me the momentum, I'm going through the same atmosphere.
Right, you are, but you can't make any adjustments. So
So I do have to adjust to catch up to to gain the 500 miles per hour in tangential speed. I do have to adjust on my way south. Is that correct?
You're reacting to the forces that are imparted on you around you.
No shit.
The bullet,
you could say that about anything. I could say that when I fucking get up and go to the bathroom to take a piss. Tell me how I gain the 500 miles.
You don't gain anything. You're just maintaining this. So if you're going from an imparted 500 to the equator 1,000, you're actually going to have to be losing your speed if you want to maintain 500 miles an hour airspeed.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to lose speed. I'm going faster when I get to the equator, right? My tangential speed is increasing by 500 miles per hour.
Right. But your
in
plane
a particular
has to maintain,
vector.
Your plane has to maintain 400 miles an hour. So if it's being imparted with forces, with the atmosphere moving 1,000 miles an hour, you don't want to go 1,000 miles per hour. You don't want to add speed. So there's forces that are trying to add speed to you, and you want to maintain a lower speed.
I don't think you've thought this through at all, Bio.
If let's just say a think piece. If you were in space with one of those police guns and you could clock a plane, how fast would you clock that plane? If you're not part of Earth's orbit, if you're in space and you're able to do so, how fast would you clock that plane going?
Who are you asking?
Oh,
Bio?
It'd be different for different direction planes.
Well, if a plane, just say a plane's just flying west, or I'm sorry, flying east, and you clicked on it, or I'm sorry, west. West would actually make more sense for this. Wouldn't you clock it at 15, or would you clock it less than that? Because
if we can get in the inertial reference frame, are you talking about if we can get in the inertial reference frame that you guys don't have?
You're changing
the reference frame you're missing for Coriolis. I know.
Yeah, it would depend depend on your relative speed as well, of course. But
speed is relative.
Right.
So what's your point in bringing that up, Sean? What were you getting at? Just
in the fact that when you're saying a plane needs to do this to catch up to Earth's or rotation or something, it's weird that you think you would have to go 1,200 to go west.
I never said that, but that's not how it works, Sean. You're conflating things. Okay. If I'm looking down, if I have a God's eye view down on the Earth as it rotates, I see the plane flying down. The plane's tangential speed with the direction of rotation of the Earth is 500 miles an hour. Okay, it takes off. It's got that speed. We'll let it keep it right the whole way. It goes down to the equator. How is it going to gain the other 500 miles per hour in tangential speed as it goes south?
It has wings.
So are you saying that it turns to gain it?
No, it's maintaining a heading.
You cannot gain velocity
wings.
Or overall momentum by turning alone. Would you agree with that statement? You can change your vectors, but you can't gain overall velocity by turning, can you?
If it depends on the turning that you're talking about. The answer is no if you're turning in respect to yaw. If you're turning in respect to yaw and ignoring wind, then sure, you can't add velocity that way.
Yeah, we're not ignoring. I'm asking you how it gains the extra 500 miles in tangential speed in that vector.
It doesn't need to. That's the point.
Why doesn't it need to?
Why would it need to? If it's maintaining 500 miles an hour.
Because of Coriolis. You tell me that if I shoot a fucking ballistic from where the Earth is turning at 500 miles an hour tangential speed down to the equator, it's going to miss its target by a whole bunch.
No, not if it's maintaining a heading, because there's a big difference between a plane and a bullet. A bullet has one heading the exact moment that it's shot off. It has that initial heading and it never changes. It doesn't do shit. When you're talking about a plane, it's maintaining a heading. It's making tiny little changes the entire flight to maintain this heading. The bullet doesn't do that.
Turning.
It has a one-time trajectory.
It's turning. That's what you're saying. It's turning. Is that right? That's what maintaining a heading means, is fucking turning.
Fine. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so it gains 500 miles per hour of tangential speed in a particular vector by fucking turning. Is that what you're telling me?
It doesn't have to gain this speed. If you're maintaining a speed and maintaining a heading, what speed are you thinking that it's going to be added? It's maintaining.
You're at one space where the Earth is rotating at 500 miles per hour. You're flying down to somewhere where it's rotating at 1,000. The ground literally is turning beneath you if you don't do anything. How do you get up to the 1,000 miles per hour tangential speed?
You're not trying to get up to that, man. You're
are.
interacting with the forces around you, and you're maintaining a speed. That's the simplest way to say it.
Bio, if you don't increase 500 miles per hour, you will be lagging to spinning the Earth by 500 miles. Common sense.
No, you're not. If you're maintaining 500 miles per hour, you're going 500 miles per hour in respect to the surface of the Earth.
Your airspeed, if you maintain an airspeed of 500 miles an hour, Bio, so that means that you're increasing your thrust in order to gain that 500 miles per hour tangential speed?
No, man.
I'm sorry, Bio,
because it's in lockstep,
when you
so
took off,
it doesn't matter. You're in lockstep with the atmosphere.
Bio,
Your
it
airspeed
does
is 500
matter.
miles an hour. It doesn't
When
matter.
you took
It doesn't
off-
matter what the atmosphere is doing.
Then there's no Coriolis.
Can I say something?
Oh well.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you
Silent.
took off, the atmosphere and the place where you take off, it's going at 500 miles, and where you're gonna land is going at 1,000 miles. You gotta gain those 500 miles some way.
No, you don't. You maintain your heading and you maintain your speed the entire flight. If you do those two things, you will hit your destination regardless of the direction that you're going. Maintain heading, maintain speed. There's no differential in which you have to increase or decrease. Like, oh fuck, we're crossing this particular latitude, better rev up my thrust. No, you're just maintaining a speed the entire time.
Does the air tug the plane, Bio?
Does the what?
Does the spinning atmosphere above the Earth tug the plane along? Is that what you're saying?
There will be small forces imparted on it by it, sure.
Small forces will be imparted on the plane from the atmosphere that's spinning.
Yeah, there's something called centrifugal force. That'll be part of this interaction.
Does centrifugal force make you go faster on the equator and slower in Alaska?
It'll affect the fuel efficiency of the plane.
But it'll make you go 500 miles faster on the equator than in Alaska, because that's what you're saying.
No, of course not. You're talking about absolute speed, absolute motions. You can talk about them, but they have no place.
Alaska atmosphere we know is moving 500 miles, correct? And then on the equator it's 1,000 miles. We're trying to get from
in reference to, but they're not going those speeds in reference to the surface of the Earth.
Then tell us what speeds they're going.
They're going zero. They're going zero. At the atmosphere above the Earth at any latitude is going 0 miles per hour in reference to the surface of the Earth.
You are goddamn right, Bio. You're goddamn right. That's the first right thing you've said this whole entire conversation.
There are tangential speeds given at a particular latitude, but in reference to the surface of the Earth. Because if there was anything but zero, we would have constant wind. And if there was a 1,000 mile per hour difference between the atmosphere and the equator, we would have 1,000 mile per hour wind, because that's what wind is.
No one is saying there's a difference. We're trying to understand what you're saying. So, okay, we'll do that. We'll say the absolute, the speed relative to the atmosphere for the plane in Anchorage is 0. The plane's going 500 miles along tangential speed, along with the Earth, along with the atmosphere. Plane gets up in the sky, heads south.
On the runway?
It heads south. Okay, flies down to the equator, where all of that is going 1,000 miles an hour, but the plane just came from an area where it's going 500. It needs to gain 500 miles an hour in tangential velocity in order to match the speed of the atmosphere and the Earth where its destination is. Period.
I think I see what you're saying, but I still think that there's a problem in which the maintaining of this is occurring the entire way.
There's a problem, all right. It's called doublespeak.
I don't think it is. I think it's somewhere there's a misunderstanding. I'm just trying to find out where.
There is a misunderstanding, that's for sure.
Maintaining means you maintain the same
said
speed.
yes, Bio, that would solve the whole problem.
Listen,
yes,
this is
you need to gain 500 miles in tangential velocity. So fucking what?
Just real quick, in case I don't stay connected. This is the exact same conundrum, right? BioDual just explained the fact that we should have winds, right? He knows that's what we should have.
No, we shouldn't. I can clarify if you want, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Shush. So again, because they can't account for it, you can't test any of these variables. You can't isolate any of these variables. All he's been giving this entire time is an explanation to solve a problem that they cannot physically solve. These are only explanations. No. Yes.
Well, and if you'll notice, Travis, what he's been saying is you maintain your heading and you maintain your airspeed. Of course you do those two things when you fly from place to place.
Yeah.
That doesn't explain how you gain the 500 miles per hour in tangential speed.
Exactly.
It almost sounds like you're flying over a flat, non-rotating surface.
No, because there's a difference between relative speeds and maintaining a same speed in reference to something else, and that difference being 0. There's a big difference that Travis, now you're missing that.
No, I'm not missing anything.
What is the difference? Tell us.
The difference is you could be moving 70 miles per hour and I could be moving 70 miles per hour in the same direction together, right? The difference between us is 0 miles per hour. Me and you create no wind in reference to each other, despite us both moving 70 miles per hour. That's the key difference. The Earth is just in lockstep. The atmosphere and the surface move at the same speed. The difference between that is 0.
That works perfectly on the flat, stationary.
When have I said it doesn't?
Okay, but
So
listen,
what's the difference?
again, though, going back to your claim that the atmosphere is in lockstep, okay, you have no testable, experimental, empirical data for this. None. The only thing you have on the only thing you have on that claim is that it is that. And the reason,
we have the Coriolis.
No, that's not experimental. That's not controllable. No, that is an effect that depends upon your claim that the Earth is spinning at all. You still haven't proven that the Earth is spinning. Okay.
If we want to devolve, man, we're just going to go back to Bob.
No, it's not devolving. It's not devolving. Okay, this is pushing you up against the wall and forcing you to understand that you have no empirical scientific data to prove your claim that the Earth's atmosphere is in lockstep with the spin. The reason why.
Yes, you do. You measure winds.
Every single
no winds.
Okay.
It's locked.
Fuckhead. So when I'm standing still on the shores of Havre de Grace on the Chesapeake Bay and there's a slight breeze, what's creating that breeze?
Weather.
Weather. That's it.
It's going to be a difference in pressure.
That's it.
That'll be that one.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, the spin of the Earth's got nothing to do with the fucking
It'll have influence.
Travis,
wind.
You're making a different argument. You're making
right.
But he's listen. No. Because his claim is that the airplane is in lockstep. It's the same basic argument at base. Okay.
He's making the claim that they're in the same reference frame, and you don't have to take any of these considerations into account. Is that correct, Bio?
Consciously, the plane does all this automatically.
Except for the fact that you guys also claim Coriolis and say that it's because you're because of the different reference frames, don't you?
Yeah, probably not in those words, but I don't really have a problem with it. No.
Yeah. So pick one. That's what I say. It's doublethink, Bio.
It's not
500 miles per hour in tangential speed, Bio, in one vector. Go think about it, man.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
I think
we can move on.
I think we're both misunderstanding the other person. I just don't know where that is.
I don't think so, because you've said some things that make me think you don't understand exactly what the problem is and why this is a problem for your model.
You understand.
No, and that's the thing. I may be misunderstanding or not seeing your exact argument. That may be the problem. I admit that. I just don't know where it is.
Okay. My argument is that you somehow have to make up 500 miles per hour tangential speed by the time you get to the equator. And I want to know how it's done, and I want evidence that it actually happens.
So how it's done, part of it, the Earth, you have friction with the Earth, Earth push you to the side by itself.
So it's the wind.
Part of it, and part of it is your engines. Tell me what acceleration you need.
So you increase your thrust. You just said the wind pushes you, and you increase your thrust, correct?
Right. So
those are two things that you should have evidence for. You should have evidence that airplanes that are flying north to south have to increase their thrust consistently to gain the tangential speed. That should be very easy to come up with because it should be statistically totally correlated.
Now,
basically,
now they don't increase their thrust.
Let's go to the math. And let's
So
see
basically, the claim is
what Shut up! I'm trying to talk. What is the acceleration needed to accelerate the airplane from 0 to 500? How long is that flight?
Go ahead. I'm not going to answer that.
What?
Whoever was
You brought the flight.
Omni Uber.
So how long is that flight? How many hours?
Omni Uber. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so their claim basically is that the plane is basically a passenger in the lockstep motion of the atmosphere.
Yes.
No.
But at the same time, they want to claim Coriolis.
I just said you need to compensate for it, and I want to know how much.
You tell me, and you show me evidence that takes place on a consistent basis.
That is a red herring.
What acceleration?
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Stop. No, that's a red herring. Listen, go back to the airplane being a passenger. Go back to the airplane being a. Listen, hold on, please. If the airplane is just a passenger, then Brandon's question about a projectile still stands, because that's all it is. It's just a passenger. And then all of a sudden, no. And then all of a sudden, oh no, that's because it's got wings and flaps, and you've got to control for certain variables. No, because all of those controlled variables negate everything. If you just got wind and if you've just got wind blowing against you and you compensate for that, now you're at zero. Now you're at zero now.
There you go. You fucking got it, Travis. Because you have these things that can interact with the forces being imparted on it, you can negate them by adjusting. Yes, you're 100% right.
No, it doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't have something
funny about.
Hold on, silent.
About you asking us how much compensation should be when you are the ones who should tell us and show us that information.
Yeah.
How are you asking us? We are challenging. Hold on. We are challenging your assertion that this is happening, and then Chikes turn and ask us for the numbers.
Right, because you speak without knowing what you
show us the compensation.
So let's say this flight is 6 hours.
No, let's not say. Show
Shut
us.
the fuck up, since I wasn't given a number.
No, we're not going to play your minimized game where you spread it out. Give us the fucking evidence. It doesn't happen. No one has provided evidence in years for this.
So is this what you were asking before, Brandon? For the not what the parts do, but the specific calculations the cards inside the parts are doing, like a month ago? I didn't provide exactly what you wanted, but is this similar to that?
Yeah, I want to know the physical mechanism by that allows the plane to gain the 500 miles per hour tangential speed in one vector along the flight.
Yeah, I don't think it does, but I think I understand what you're saying.
It has to, Bio.
What I can say is that
one way or the other, it has to gain it.
The air data computer is going to take in information from the pitot-sag system, all the air variables, and I think that doesn't satisfy what you're asking. I think what you want is how does a particular circuit inside of a part know that it needs to increase throttle or it needs to adjust a flight surface?
Total obfuscation. No, not even close.
Okay, I think that's what.
Nice try though. Nice obfuscation. No, I'm not going down there. Anybody else want to take a shot at explaining this away?
Could I have a shot?
Why would they? You don't want to
go ahead, Ellie.
All right,
it's really simple. Right. Listen.
Who's the guy?
Hold on. Ellie, it's silent. Hold on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'll be quiet. Yeah.
Right, that guy, BioJewel. Are you still there? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
All right, okay. Right, I'll give you the scenario. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm in North America. I'm in the middle of America, and it's a 5-hour flight, and I'm going to head down to Patagonia, down in South America, or wherever it is, or I'm going to go down to Venezuela, right? And it's a 5-hour, 6-hour flight. Now my aeroplane, I'm going to aim, get my heading, and I'm going to head off my flight. My flight's taking 5 hours, right? And I can only go 500 miles an hour. Now, as soon as I take off, Patagonia is going to start heading at 1,000 miles an hour, or if it's on the equator, away from me, right? Now, this will be the problem. Now, that's the shortest route. Now, if you say that I'm going to turn in the direction and chase after Patagonia, now that goes against the laws of physics that says an object at 500 miles an hour can catch an object at 1,000 miles an hour unless it aims 3,000 miles away from Patagonia or Venezuela to meet up with Venezuela.
That's if it's a projectile. Sure.
No, it's an airplane. Well, what would the airplane?
Because an airplane doesn't do that.
Right. What does a plane do?
It's going to maintain its heading, so it knows it's heading from location to location.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but remember, Venezuela is moving at 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm only capable in my airplane of doing 500. Right, so go for it.
It's
how
maintaining its heading,
an object? Yeah, but how do I catch up with an object that's moving 1,000 miles an hour?
Because you're maintaining your speed and you're maintaining
your
500.
I'm maintaining my speed at 500.
Hold on, man. Come on. You're asking so many questions. No. You're posing so many situations. Relax, man.
No, it's one
so that's
situation.
how it's going to do it. Is it's going to maintain? It's going to maintain its speed. It's going to maintain its bearing. So long as it's pointing at it and it's maintaining a speed, the calculations for how long it's going to take based on that speed is going to be the same.
The Bob the Science Guy school of fucking ball Earth flight.
All right, so I just what I do then is I don't actually head for Patagonia or Venezuela. I actually head if I was going south, if I was heading south, I'd head to my left 5 hours ahead. So I'd actually be maybe aiming at Australia. So I would head for Australia and meet Venezuela on the way round then, yeah, because that's the only way I would catch that. Otherwise, what you're talking is a load of shite.
No, your misunderstandings of how planes work and how they navigate is not my problem.
You're not the misunderstanding. Excuse me. Everybody else can understand what I'm talking about.
Let's see then.
That's what it said.
It's not how.
Apart from the rest of the ballers.
It's not that he doesn't understand how planes work. That's not the issue.
But like Ali said, this would be cheaper because you would be then like piggybacking off of the Earth's rotation instead of using your fuel.
Yeah, but they're actually saying it's not in lockstep. So we've left the reference frame of the Earth and the atmosphere.
No.
The plane conserves its momentum. The plane conserves its momentum.
And its momentum is 500 miles an hour.
Yeah, and it alters its heading, right, to head to its destination.
So exactly. So you're telling me it's going to aim for Australia to catch Venezuela?
No, it's going to aim for their location, and it's going to maintain that heading. Come on, man.
No, just like it would over a flat plane. Alan, you can continue, but I just want to say something.
No.
This is what Bob the Science Guy does. He goes back to describing how flight actually works, which is exactly how flight would work over a flat plane. So it's almost like they're telling you, yeah, we're over a flat plane. This is how flight works. This is all they do.
Secondly,
sorry.
That's exactly the point, right? That's exactly the point. You cannot
conservation.
You cannot prove Earth rotation or the atmosphere being in lockstep. You can only use it as an you can only use it as an explanation that you cannot demonstrate or reduplicate on a small scale. So
conservation of momentum has nothing to do with multiple reference frame.
It has to do with Coriolis.
No, it definitely doesn't.
It's literally what the physics books say Coriolis is.
Definitely
Do you know that
because there's no way you would be able to. As a matter of fact, give me a demonstration of something like in another reference frame conserving angular momentum.
No, I'm talking about linear momentum.
Well, then we're not talking about the same thing, bucko.
Coriolis is the conservation of linear momentum.
So, Brandon,
what would that have to do?
Hold on,
what would that have to do? What would that have to do with a rotating surface and something leaving that reference? You tell me.
Because the projectile is traveling a straight line. It's a projectile.
Deja vu. Shout out to Ute, says Dan the Waterman, $5. Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate it. Shout out Ute indeed.
Reference frame, it can't go straight because it has to curve. It has to curve. It can't be going straight because it has to curve with the rotating surface.
It doesn't.
In order for it to be angularly conserved, because we're on a rotating surface, right? So you can't have things going straight because it would end up in space.
That's your reference frame. That's your reference frame talking. Because with the Coriolis, we know that when you're within the reference frame, you're going to see this straight line path. When you're outside of it, you're going to see this curved path. So you guys are talking about the same coin but different sides.
Yeah. Okay. That's
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So what happens is what happens is the projectile going from the equator north gets ahead of.
We were talking about aeroplanes, Brenda. Brenda, it was aeroplanes we were talking about. Aeroplanes, not a projectile.
The airplanes also experience Coriolis.
I don't think there are many flat earthers understand the argument, though. I mean, I heard Travis and this other whoever was talking right now. They don't understand the argument. I think.
I do understand.
Hold on.
Ellie does. Ellie understands it for sure. Travis, I think, was making another point.
Let me
Time out. Silent. Are you referring to me?
Yeah. What you described has nothing to do with
what I understand.
What you described has nothing to do with what Brandon is arguing.
Yeah, but I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing against Brendan. I heard Brenda say something, and I said no. You can't say that conservation of momentum has anything to do with Coriolis because it would have to be conserving momentum angularly.
No, it doesn't have to.
What? No, I'm talking to Silent. I'm talking to Silent. So, do you understand what I'm saying now? I'm not refuting or even addressing. I'm not even addressing Brent.
I apologize, brother. I thought you were trying to get on Brandon's point. I apologize, bro.
Thank you, bro.
He's using the QE engagement.
Can I have a go explaining this?
What are you talking? What are you talking about? Okay, so show me something in a detached from an inertial reference frame. Show me it conserving momentum angularly, and then I'll shut up.
Right, merry-go-rounds and throwing a ball straight. So just real quick, I
posted a link if you throw a ball straight, it's not going to conserve angular momentum. You can't just say that and move on.
Someone will post one. I'm highly confident in that.
When you throw a ball on a merry-go-round, which direction does it go, Bio?
It depends on your reference frame. Who am I? Am I
on the merry-go-round and you throw a fucking ball across straight in front of you. Which way does it go?
It looks like it curves. It looks like it curves.
No. Which way does it go in reality from the other reference frame?
If I'm in the other reference frame, yeah.
If I'm viewing it from outside of the rotating reference frame, which way does the ball go? Which is the way it goes in reality?
Yeah, like a tangential line. It's a straight line.
Straight.
Yep, within it.
That's what he's saying, and you're playing stupid.
Straight or curve.
No, this is very important.
Depending.
No, you're playing stupid.
No. There's two reference frames in which the ball looks like it takes different types of paths. We know this.
Does the ball actually go straight or does it curve?
What do you mean actually?
Oh, you see the fucking reference frame, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I know. So anyways, I posted the original conversation.
No, we're not going to go back to the fucking merry-go-round. We're not taking it back to the fucking playground again.
No, we're taking to the plane.
No.
So there's something called Transport Wander. On page 85 of what I posted, there are things called INS error corrections. And then the INS, according to the latitude, will make these adjustments for the particular latitude you're on.
Red herring.
Yeah, right.
Red herring.
Okay, go ahead, Silent Zero.
Not red herring. It's directly what we were talking about.
This argument is the reason why they call that engineer's boss and made him quit because he had the numbers and everything calculations about this south to north traveling with airplanes and shit.
Can I give an explanation?
And that's why they call their boss and then make him quit.
Because he had the physics wrong, which is really bad if you're an engineer.
Yeah, and they didn't call his boss. They did not call his boss. You just made that up.
Yeah, here's Rumpus.
No, come on, let's not start that argument because it is secondhand that we've heard that.
Well, okay,
let's just move on. Let's move on.
Let's
Right,
just make
instead of
sure
sticking
no
on-
one
instead of
called
sticking on
anybody's
Brandon's
boss.
point,
No
instead of
one
sticking on-
called anybody's boss.
Instead of
No
sticking
one
on Brandon's
called
point,
anybody's boss.
no
So
one
Rumpus.
called
It was
anybody
the
boss.
licensing board.
Thank you.
He
I heard
phoned George.
So here's-
Phoned
so
George phoned
look,
the
look.
licensing board.
Oh,
Right. that's
Listen,
right.
listen,
Go.
listen.
Yes. Go ahead,
There is
Elijah.
no such thing in reality as something in a second reference frame with no, I don't. I can't even think of
It's
anything.
called relativity. It's how the universe works.
Listen, there is nothing in reality that I can experience with my own eyeballs that would conserve angular momentum once it leaves the rotating reference frame. Now, you guys are trying to. I don't even know what it is that you guys are trying to. This is the most simple. Matter of fact, let me give the audience, a visual. So you have a yo-yo, right? And you relax the yo-yo, meaning that the string is straight, it's plumb, right? Now you begin to spin it so that it's rotating, right? Now, if that yo-yo is detached from that spinning string, that yo-yo is gonna go straight. It's not gonna conserve angular momentum and continue to spin.
That's a straw man. That's not what we're claiming.
It's not a straw man. No, it's not a straw man.
We're not claiming
it's not
that.
a straw man because there's no Coriolis, and your explanation for not seeing Coriolis effect is that it's conserving angular momentum. No, that it's conserving momentum, but it needs to be conserving angular momentum. So it's not a straw man.
No.
Wait, no, like I just came from.
No, that's all he's got, Elijah. Elijah.
Yeah,
No.
I just came from Facebook where I thought like maybe this guy is really interested in learning and it's the same thing. Like these people just switch the argument and they don't understand what the argument is and they claim that it's us. And it's
They understand, Elijah.
Okay.
They know what they're doing,
jump in.
Elijah.
Yeah. Elijah, I completely agree with you. So we've got me against left lane because left lane said no. Okay, so
no.
In order
not
for us,
angular, linear.
In order, I think for this not to get missed, because I think you made a great point, Elijah. I think that was absolutely spot on. Okay.
Yep.
I think we should take a poll of who's on the panel right now and at least get affirmation or denial as to whether or not we think Elijah. I'll step forward first and I say I think that that's an absolutely perfect example of what we're talking about. Any other yays and nays?
Well, angular momentum is defined by something rotating.
I wasn't looking
right?
for rhetoric. Do we have
I
agree?
agree.
Okay,
I
so
agree.
yes.
It could
Okay,
be
great.
Angular momentum.
Okay, great. Anybody else? Yay or nay?
Yeah.
That's,
Elijah made a good point. Yeah.
Okay, that's 3 on 1. Okay. 3 yays, 1 nay. Okay. So I mean, at least we have
point. That's
Hold
for
on.
I for that.
Okay, so look, at least we have 4 people, relatively smart, that understand what Elijah said and affirm that is the issue. Okay?
So it's an ad populum argument? Is that what you're trying to make, Mr. Travis?
No. I'm trying to at least demonstrate that it's not a nonsensical argument. It's not nonsense, right?
It's a misrepresentation. Just because people understand what he had said, that doesn't make it a good argument. Doesn't mean it's a good representation. Just that people understand his argument.
Okay, great. So since you're the one that brought up a merry-go-round and conservation of angular momentum, what do you mean by that concept then in that scenario?
It's gonna be linear momentum. The moment that it's gonna leave this reference frame, it's gonna have a linear momentum.
Exactly what Elijah said.
I thought he was saying that it has to maintain an angular momentum. Perhaps I misunderstood what he said.
Now that's what he said, and that's QE's argument at the
So let me address that. In order to experience no Coriolis, aka the air moving with the rotating reference frame, then angular momentum would have to be conserved. It would have to be, but
you
that's
haven't left the reference frame.
Well,
Right, but you haven't, right? If the atmosphere is in lockstep with this rotating body, you're still within the reference frame because you're within the atmosphere.
It's not because I've never seen this happen before. It's not.
No. But geez, even in principle, whether the Earth is flat and
not
non-rotating or it's rotating in a sphere,
the air is in a
slow down, guys.
second.
Slow down. Let each other talk. Go ahead.
The air is in a second reference frame, but you're saying it's one reference frame because it's moving angularly with the rotation of the Earth, which is why we don't experience Coriolis. That's what you're saying. I'm saying there's no actual demonstration. How?
Because it's the same reference frame. Whether you're on the ground that's rotating or you're 10 feet above that ground and the atmosphere is rotating with that surface, you're still within the same reference frame for what we're talking about.
I'll give someone else a chance. This is annoying.
Farming Ganja, you had
one that
something.
invoked. Brenda was the
Anybody
one
maybe want to explain?
Linear.
Hold on, guys. Farming Ganja is trying to speak. Your mic's a little low, Farming.
It was Brenda that invoked linear velocity.
Right, when you leave the reference frame, yeah, it's linear momentum, sure.
But now you keep double speaking because you're not leaving the reference frame, right? You're turning still with the atmosphere, correct?
You're being a part of it, the forces that are acting on you. Yeah, you are leaving.
You can't even say a straight yes or no.
Because this is not fucking easy, Brandon. This shit's complicated.
No, yeah, it's not easy because you have to fucking double speak and double think.
Brandon, this shit's complicated, man. It takes
no,
more
it's
than 4
not.
words
It's
to
fucking simple.
Especially if you're going on about angular momentum when it's linear, then of course there's misunderstandings and it has to be explained fully or thoroughly.
Not by you, clearly.
Yeah, I know, because you're interrupting me. Sure.
I think it might be easier to try to define what a reference frame is because I feel like it's being used.
No, we don't need a definition of a reference frame. We're good. No.
Well, people are using it and saying that things are leaving reference frames and
care.
And airs in this reference frame.
Don't care.
No,
we're not doing that.
Or acceleration, no need for all that.
Listen, I don't,
once you oh, sorry, go ahead, Trav.
I don't normally do this, but I'm going to beg the question. Okay, I'm going to give it to you. So my question, we talk about the angular momentum on the ground. Where I'm at here in Washington, D.C. or whatever, it's 600 miles an hour. And at the equator, it's 1,000. Now, if I ascend in altitude, does the angular momentum decrease the higher I go?
Your angular velocity would have to increase, actually.
It would have to increase?
Yes, because it's a bigger diameter.
Okay. Increase or decrease, that's fine. Okay, so let's say then we take, at what point does that become measurable, would you say? Okay, so my thought experiment.
Angular.
Probably very high, Travis.
It doesn't change at all.
My thought experiment would be you take 2 hot air balloons, you put one up at 1/4 mile, you put another one up at 2 miles. The one at the top is going to end up overtaking the one below it and go faster. Yeah?
No.
If be a sphere, yes.
Oh, if it only maintains the velocity from the ground when it goes up, is that what you're saying?
Can I explain a different way? If the sphere is rotating, the bottom of the building will go 1 mile per hour. The very top of the building would have to be going faster because that diameter is higher, and they're going at the same speed the building is.
Yeah.
Right.
Same, right.
It's so minor,
the
though.
The angular momentum isn't measured that way, though.
But guess what? Mathematically, if there's a difference, mathematically, that's a first law violation.
Brandon, the way I see it, it
right
would
or
be
wrong.
better.
Right or wrong? I'm sorry. I just wanted to get a concession on that point. If mathematically the velocity would have to increase, right? Then where's that energy coming from?
It's not coming from the angular momentum. That's just the linear the linear velocity.
Well, okay. Well, let's say we have the radius from the center, from the center to the surface. Now let's go 5 foot above that surface. Is the radius larger?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so the circumference of that radius would be larger, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so technically there's a difference.
Yeah, not in angular momentum though. Yeah, in the linear momentum, yeah. On the angular
Well,
momentum.
you wouldn't have no, because angular momentum is only dealing with one reference frame.
Yeah, the reference frames aren't involved with this. When you're talking about
No,
an object, a building,
you're the one that invoked the word.
You came in here to tell us about reference frames, Coach.
Yeah, because I know. But that's what I'm saying. You guys are just using incorrectly. Reference frames are observer dependent. It's not. It has nothing to do with where objects are.
No,
Okay, so
reference frames are physical dependent, meaning there needs to be two.
Hold on. If you put a camera on an object, then you observe that video. Isn't that on a different reference frame, Coach?
Sorry, say that again. I'm sorry, I'm driving. You said if a camera's there,
If you
camera's there, that's an observer.
If you put a camera, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So any object can be in a different reference frame.
That's
it's just
fine,
that
as long
you're
as
not
talking about
the object.
If you're talking about the reference frame, you're talking about the observer. It doesn't matter if the observer is a camera or an eye or just a simple,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the object, right?
Don't go down this reference frame route. This is a circuitous obfuscation bullshit.
Yeah. I wanted to say, Brandon, if in your point, it will be easier to reach your destination if you take off, you conserve momentum, and instead of trying to catch up, you go to the opposite way. The Earth is gonna catch up to you eventually, probably faster than what you're gonna catch up if you don't make up for those extra 100 miles per hour that you need to.
You would think there'd be
gain.
some differences, for sure. Yeah, you would think there'd be some differences from flying north to south and south to north, right?
Yeah.
Somehow it all just magically works. As long as you stay over your path, your flight path, everything's just fine. Put your blinders on.
It's really
don't
simple
have to
logic.
worry.
They just, yeah.
I
They just need to
provided a link.
make stuff up.
I provided a link for the INS error corrections. Coriolis effect is one of them. Transport wander is one of them. These are.
Is it gonna tell us how it gains extra 500 miles?
Brandon, it all works out just fine. As long as you fly your plane as if you're over a flat stationary Earth, you'll get where you're going.
Exactly. That's what Bob told me. That's what Blue said.
The beautiful thing is, listen, if the change is 1%, you're breaking the law. You're breaking the law, and you must be handcuffed.
I heard about, actually, there was a really bad accident a couple weeks ago. A plane was flying from Alaska down to Mexico City and forgot to make the necessary heading corrections. And it was actually only going 750 miles an hour when it got to the equator. It just fucking crashed all over the place. Fucked it all up.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
He forgot to
Bad
account
stuff.
for Coriolis.
Yep. I think this plane flight stuff, you guys have no good response. You've never provided anything substantial
Listen,
in response to
I
this.
provided a link in which the INS makes
You
corrections
gave me
for these things.
what, this thing?
Hey,
This?
Hey, since we're talking about stupid ideas, couldn't you actually fly in opposition to the atmospheric lockstep shenanigans? Like, couldn't you intentionally fly your plane so that you actually would crash when you landed on the Earth? Like, you should be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
I
yeah,
didn't
you
give
should.
that, Brandon.
And that's kind of what Silent Zero was saying is like this, if you can see my screen. This is going from, here's going from north to south, looking down at the Earth, watching the plane. It has to go through space. It literally has to travel this far in order to get down to Mexico City. As the Earth turns, it's got to keep up and it's got to speed up and gain that however many hundreds of miles of tangential speed. Now, when it's going from south to north, it only has to go up here. That's it. And you would think we'd see some kind of difference. We would be able to validate that with some kind of data. But no, because it's all relative and it's all reference frames and it's all bullshit.
That's what it is, Brandon. With no experience, you've figured it out.
Me with
got it.
42 years experience on Earth
that's
and
an
a
ad-hom.
brain to
That's
think
an
for
ad-hom.
myself and lots of
That's an
time
ad-hom.
thanks to a fucking bullshit medical thing to sit around and think about it. Yep.
Yeah, that's an ad-hom. Don't let them drag you and discredit your experience as a human being, your senses given by the creator.
Exactly.
Don't have them do that.
I'm providing data.
Like all of our senses are used to survive in the environment that we live in. We wouldn't be given senses to live in an environment that is antithetical to everything that we can observe with the five senses. That makes no sense.
We
It's
can
not
hardly
antithetical because
survive
it's too
in
small for you to detect. There are plenty of things that you can't detect on small scales that do exist that you wouldn't object to. But when we talk about
Great
these
scale
things, these
negator.
small forces, if you're talking about these small forces, of course we can't experience them, and that has nothing to do with us being able to feel and experience everything.
That's your religion, though, because you can't prove it.
Yeah, I can. You can ask Stacy, where I showed her the small forces that humans typically experience, and then calculated the force involved with the rotating Earth, and showing it.
Yeah,
to be 3
that's
or 4
your
magnitudes
religion,
lower,
right?
But
That's your
again, I'm
religion.
showing you the data and the evidence, right?
No,
I'll grab it right now.
let me tell you what you're attempting to show. Something that includes a foregone conclusion. This is called begging the question. Every proof you will ever give me, antithetical to my senses, is going to be a begging the question fallacy. I don't care what you're going to present.
That's the better way
It's
to say
going
it,
to
Elijah.
have
You don't care.
presuppositions in it.
You don't care. Exactly.
No,
Let me try to address it real quick, Bio. Listen, Bio, the only thing that you've done is you've measured on a small scale what a human being can detect. After that, you then switch to a calculation wherein you say, well, if we increase this, which you didn't, you just calculated it on a piece of paper, then it should extrapolate out to where it gets so small that they can't feel it. Now, you didn't.
No, I didn't do any of that.
Okay. All you've done, can you hear me now?
No, I can hear you. I didn't do anything that you said. Can you hear me?
Okay, I thought you said you didn't hear what I said. So
no.
Okay, so again, listen, the evidence that you provided showed that they tested the sensitivity of a person's ability to detect motion. Now, they never took that person up to 1,000 miles an hour and said, "Can you feel it now?"
Two
All
things.
they did. Hold on.
You have no idea. I'm about to post it right now. So instead of you misrepresenting and strawmanning, how about you read what I'm going to provide, then you can further attack it.
Okay, well, I've read one before, so if it's not the same as yours, then I'll read it again.
There are particular thresholds in which the human body typically experiences force, not speed, not motion, force. And then there are plenty of tests to try to determine what this threshold is. Once we understand what the threshold is, and at least a range, because everyone's different, obviously, then we can explore what we should feel. If the Earth, the globe model were true, there are particular parameters in which we can calculate the forces that would be occurring. And the forces that would be occurring are too small and fall under our threshold of the minimum by a few magnitudes. So no, we shouldn't feel it. It doesn't mean that it is happening. It doesn't mean that it's not happening. It's just, if it is, we should not feel it.
Simply because you change the word from speed to force doesn't take away from the principle that I'm saying right now. All you've done is measured on a small scale what a person can detect. After that, you did not accelerate, you did not increase force. All you did was extrapolate out the math and then say, that looks pretty small. I don't think they're going to be able to feel it.
These tests were done in both ranges, or not both ranges in which they found a maximum, but they found a minimum threshold, and then they also experimented with more force than just the minimum. The minimum threshold was just found within the experiment, but the experiment goes way further than just the
threshold. What was the force that they manipulated by increasing or decreasing?
I got you. 1 second.
While you're looking that up, let me read this. I believe the Earth is flat, 499. Why is the upper atmosphere 200 kilometers above the surface, moving 30% faster than the atmosphere below it? That's interesting. I don't know, I haven't looked too much at that. I believe the Earth is flat. I'm gonna have to do some research into that one day. It says the upper level jet stream, the upper level stream is at the troposphere, which is the lowest level of our atmosphere, and it is at a height of 20,000 to 45,000 feet. This is where the winds are highest, where very intense winds come in, 100 to 150 miles an hour.
Yeah, they actually have the atmosphere doesn't move in lockstep in their model. It moves faster the higher you get. Counterintuitive of what would have you'd have drag on the upper atmosphere. They have it going faster.
So in other words, in reality, since this is the case, guess what? It's just the case. I don't have to explain a damn thing.
Nope.
It's just the case. Like what am I gonna say as a flat earth? It's the case. You go up there, oh shit, slipstreams. What do you know? That's it. That's it. To figure out a cause because you've already the thing with Globazar, and this is why it's cognitively painful for other people who are actually trying to understand the argument. It's because so many people are filled with things that they think that they know, or things that is possible to be known, that is actually well, some things are impossible to know, right? And then there might be some things that are possible, but we're just restricted from doing. Like the government owns the whole sky. If we wanted to see that, if we wanted to see the point at which we could go no further up using propulsion, we wouldn't even be able to figure it out because that's government property up there, the fucking sky.
It's the most valuable space on the Earth. Didn't mean a pun there. As soon as they had invented the rockets, as soon as von Braun came along and said, hey, you can shoot a rocket from one country to another, then the fucking sky and how all this shit works became infinitely more important, especially when it comes to total war. And if you don't think this country and every other country has been preparing for the next total war since the end of World War II, you're out of your fucking mind. They've been doing everything they can to make sure they have superiority in every single way. Not saying that's a bad thing, but just the idea that we lay people, we people outside of the government would know everything that's going on up there where we can't go, that's so strategically important, is absolutely foolish. Anyway, open topic. Anybody who has anything to bring up? It's about 7 o'clock. We got an hour left.
We got any answer from BioDual and what that force was?
I'm posting it in chat, man. I've tagged you.
Listen, I'm driving. I was expecting you to give an audible response. Can you give an audible response?
So essentially, they're putting electrodes into using 26 gauge transmural guide tubes into the vestibular systems. Essentially, obviously, it's more complicated, and we're not doctors, but basically that's it. They're testing the vestibular system, and then what they're doing is within the experiment. Each otolith afferent, and I even had to look that up, and that's part of the vestibular system, was first tested using half-hertz oscillations along the 3 cardinal axes. And then depending on the results and the detection of that, the sensors went off, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Again, what force did they manipulate?
Oh, I'm sorry. The half-hertz oscillations along the 3 cardinal axes were not good enough?
No. Okay, so the half what?
A half-hertz oscillation along the 3 cardinal axes.
A half-hertz oscillation. So a sound wave?
Oh boy, man.
Listen, I don't know what this is. Just don't patronize me.
It's a frequency of movement. That's what they're doing. It's a half-hertz oscillation
sound
in all these.
Okay.
Hertz and oscillation don't have to do with just sound.
Okay, what does that replicate? Okay, great. That's fine. What does that replicate in reality? Like, what can I say? That's kind of like riding a bike, or that's kind of like falling off a like leaning back in a chair, and you know that little feeling when right when you're
This
about
is a
to fall
peak
over.
of 0.07 Gs.
What the fuck does it
I got the
replicate?
answer.
A peak of 0.07 Gs.
What the fuck does that replicate
Here,
in
let me say it
reality?
again. Let me say it again. 0.07 Gs.
How
That
can
would be
I?
what it's
How
replicating.
can I experience that in reality? What is that? I don't know what that is.
And here we go. Anything but the evidence, guys.
Travis,
Go ahead, Travis.
What are you talking about?
Travis, guess what? Here's what he's saying. They've done this thing, right? And voila, this means we live on a globe.
Right. So
Wait, did I say that from the beginning? What did I say from the beginning, Elijah? That this doesn't mean anything. Whether or not we have
it
these
doesn't mean
thresholds.
anything.
Hold on.
Doesn't mean anything.
I'm going to clarify. Let me clarify because you're misrepresenting and you're not understanding.
That's just what you said.
When I provide these thresholds, I'm not saying here are the thresholds, therefore the Earth is a globe. The Earth can be flat or a globe. It makes no difference. The point is the argument of we must feel this rotation. We have to feel it. We have senses. Why don't we feel it? I'm addressing that point in which if the Earth were a globe at particular parameters and rotational rate and size, no, there is no reason for our senses to detect this movement.
Okay,
Again,
great.
it can be flat or sphere, but we don't have to detect it.
Hold on,
So
hold
you
on.
math-
Let me try to follow up, please. Look. Again, simply because you're using words that I don't understand, and I'm asking you clarification, and then you mock me and go, here we go. That says to me you can't explain what the fuck I'm asking a question for. So
When you asked three times and I
listen.
said 0.07 Gs, was I not
No,
answering your question, but
no,
you kept asking?
No, okay, look, here we go. Okay, now, let's say, for instance, you didn't know what the threshold was for the human ear to hear a sound, right? And I said, I'm just going to make this up, don't crucify me. And I said, it's 0.75 hertz. And you said, well, what would I have to experience in reality to understand what you mean? And I said, 0.05 hertz. And I'm like, no. Like, what would I hear in reality that would be that? You're like, 0.075
Because that's missing the
hertz.
point. That's missing the point, Travis.
No. You would say...
Because we're talking about thresholds, so why are we trying to equate these things?
Because there are certain whistles, right? There are certain whistle frequencies I can't hear. But if you take it down and say you could hear this frequency, and I say, can you give me an example? But you can't provide an example of what that frequency is, I'm not going to understand what you're saying, even though you keep repeating the fucking number.
You don't have. There's no reason for you to have to understand, man. There's no reason. What you wanted was a threshold, how they know it. I gave you
the threshold?
I gave you the experiment, and I explained how they did particular things.
Here's how
what they're
simple
sensing,
it is.
how they're sensing, how it equates to G values. Fuck, man.
Here's how simple it is, okay? Every one of us, I'm sure, has been on a Gravitron at the local fair. We all know we can feel that spin. So my question to you is, how fucking big would that Gravitron have to be before I stop feeling the spin and can walk around like everything's normal?
That'll depend on a number of things, particularly the size, the RPM.
The size. I don't know if the size would make it. I don't know. Maybe I missed. But he did say 0.7 Gs. So are you?
7 Gs was part of the experiment. I'm getting to the conclusion.
So does that mean? So does that? I'm sorry, because when I think of G, like you mean like G forces?
Right.
Okay.
Linear,
so
like
are,
linear
so
G
are you,
forces?
It's a G force.
Linear?
It's a G force, Travis.
You fucking don't have any answers.
Because you're asking a nonsensical question, whether it's linear or angular. It's a G force, Travis.
I'm asking a question about the data you're providing, and you can't fucking answer the question.
Right.
And
It's a bad
I'm
question,
the one.
Travis. If you're asking that
No, it's
question, you
not.
shouldn't be asking questions because all you're trying to do is
I'm picking
explore
up on the same.
without
I'm picking
understanding
up
what you're
on the
talking
same thing, though. But I'm picking up on the same thing, though. So what?
You might be
So I
understanding,
mean,
Elijah.
because I'm apparently I'm not, because when you say 0.07 Gs, well, I'm going to ask you, well, what are you claiming? Where is this movement that you would feel? What's moving where it is exuding 0.707 Gs is what I'm wondering.
I don't know. These are just within the experiments that they're recreating particular forces.
Experienced it in real life.
There we go.
You're talking about you don't know.
There we go. Anything but the evidence, guys. We have to equate everything within an experiment. The evidence to something that you experience in real life.
reality, right?
Rather than understanding and reading the
at this
experiment.
point,
Let Chai clear it up.
at this point,
Go
no,
ahead,
Chike's
Chai.
not going to clear it up. No, Chike is not going to clear it up. At this point,
Thank
at
you.
this,
A car accelerating at 0.7 g will put a force of you of
There you go.
0.7 g. How about that?
no, that's still nonsensical.
Now,
I know
now,
that's fine.
No, Travis, I think that's fine.
Where's the eye
No,
level
Travis,
in the car?
Travis, I think that's fine. And your
Shut up, Chad.
hypothetical, if you can move the car whatever speed that would exude
Acceleration of
0.07 G's, that's fine. That's fine. Now, where are you claiming this is happening on the Earth? Because then I'm going to ask you to substantiate the movement. Because then I would ask you. Then I would ask you to
Hold on,
substantiate.
we can't hear.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Because they don't ever want a conclusion to be reached. That's the problem. I'm just trying to figure out.
Elijah.
How much is 0.7 g?
Listen, Elijah, you're asking the question that I was asking. We should not move from here. Where on Earth do we experience 0.7 G so that we know
Jackie gave a
that,
good answer.
Fuck, I just gave you one answer. You
No,
don't
he
have to
didn't.
accept
Okay,
it.
That was
okay, listen. Okay, what was his answer again? Getting in a vehicle?
Yeah, you're in a vehicle and you accelerate to 0.07 Gs.
How fast is that?
Slow.
Acceleration, it's
Very
not
slow, man.
speed.
How fucking fast is that? Slow isn't an answer.
It can
It's
get to the
accelerating
light
at a rate
speed.
of
It's
0.07 Gs.
acceleration.
It's accelerating at a rate of 0.07 Gs.
When have you experienced
second squared?
When have you experienced 0.7 G's, Bio?
When my car has accelerated 0.07 Gs.
Excuse me? Okay, left lane. Wait, left lane. Okay, so you have experienced 0.7 G's.
Sure. All the
When?
time.
When?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to put a meter on me.
So
You know,
how do you know? How do you know you've experienced it? How do you know you've
Anytime I stop
experienced
at
it?
a stoplight and take off, I mean, I understand what the statement is. I understand what it's saying.
Okay,
So, yeah.
okay, listen.
Not a problem. I don't
Okay, so
understand. I don't understand disconnection.
Okay, listen. The
I don't
disconnect
understand
is
why you don't understand.
the disconnect is that you, even you, cannot give us a tangible expression on this earth of when we experience 0.0 or whatever it is, 7 Gs.
That's funny.
You know why? Because number one, it's apparently it's not detectable. But
it is detectable.
You would be where on Earth? Where?
By equipment, scientific equipment can measure this.
Conviction bio. So
The problem with us not being able to detect it is totally different.
With the equipment, where do we experience this 0.07 Gs on Earth?
I've got it exactly right here. Ready? If your starting speed is 0 and your end speed is 40, and if it takes you 60 seconds to get there, you have experienced an acceleration of 0.07 Gs. Is that clear enough?
We're both in the same delusion right now.
Is that clear enough or no?
Standing still on the moving Earth. Standing still on the moving Earth, where can we detect this 0.07 Gs, which is a consequence of the movement of the Earth?
Is that where the confusion is? Are you saying that we're saying the Earth is giving a 0.07 G force? Is that what you think we're saying?
I'm trying to figure out what you are saying. That's all.
The fact that you just
oh my god, there's so much confusion. It's fucking gross.
No,
the experiment that I provided. The experiment that I provided.
Hold on. The fact that you just laughed and said, "Do you think we're saying the Earth moves?" That's exactly what this discussion is about. You fuck.
No, you're retarded. So, Elijah, let me be very clear. Let me be very clear, and I'm going to restart because there is so much confusion. I understand where the confusion is.
What happened to him?
It's in your.
There it is. He kicked me. He kicked me. Just a heads up.
Come on, man. You can't do that during. Come on. Go ahead.
Listen, there's no way. No, there's no way to call me. There's no reason to call me retarded. Okay. Listen, I think there's a deficiency on your side, but I'm not calling you names, man. Okay, so there's no reason to add on.
Let's let Bio
Yeah.
clarify.
So anyways,
Go ahead,
Travis.
Bio.
So
Go ahead.
Elijah,
anyways.
the confusion here is that what I'm providing within the experiment has nothing to do with Earth rotation, has nothing to do with forces of Earth, nothing to do with it in the experiment. The experiment is just trying to find out
So why'd
what
you
the
bring it up?
threshold. I know, I'm about to, right? You hear me talking? So what the
Reason why
experiment's trying to
we're
do
having
is
this
find.
discussion.
Here we go, Travis. Here we go.
Let him
What
finish.
it's trying to do is trying to determine where the threshold of experiencing a force is within animals and
So
whatever.
then it's a false
There is
equivalence.
Travis.
Thank you, but that's very ineffectual to us trying to figure out why exactly we don't experience. Listen, very
No, we're not going to listen.
Look,
Already, you've said two things.
it's me,
You have
it's me.
said two things that are
Travis, it's
fallacies
me,
right now.
Travis, it's me that said listen. Hey, Eli, the flat earther. So, listen, when we're talking about, right, the semicircular canals in the ear, the vestibular system, we're talking about the system that is built, made to pick up angular movement.
Yes.
What the acceleration?
What the fuck does what you're saying have anything to do with that?
Yeah, I could get to the end, right? I could. So I'm gonna. So what this experiment is showing is that there is a threshold. There is a minimum of a force that's required for the vestibular system to detect it and let you know, hey man, you're experiencing a force. That's what this experiment's doing. The threshold that they find is going to be above what we would calculate for the Earth force. So if the Earth is rotating at the given parameters, this experiment that I provided shows that the threshold, the minimum threshold, is above that value of the force rotating of the Earth. That's a specific point. This experiment has nothing to do with Earth rotation or explaining
right.
the Earth rotation. It nothing to do with that.
This is poetic. This is a poetic way of telling us that we don't experience something because it's beyond our senses.
Right. Our precision is too shitty. Yes.
It's weird because you know, when I go outside or I barely brush up, one hair brushes up against me just lightly, I can feel it.
This has
My
nothing
senses
to do
are
with
very, very acute.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because even though it doesn't seem related, because when you're talking about hairs on your, yeah, that's not picking up
different
angular
senses, right?
movement. However, like he said, this very like what it could be. I don't even know, but it could be like the tiniest fiber that lands on your foot, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is that? Right?
Maybe.
Guess what? That's what's in your ear, fibers,
right,
to detect the movement.
Right,
What the fuck are you talking about?
but there's a range of in which this occurs, and even Travis said it himself. There are particular frequencies in which our ears don't pick up. Different hertz. There is a scale. We don't pick up everything. We have a range. We have to understand
I don't understand why you want to. Well, you know what? I don't want to poop. Like, this is why there's a show, right? But I honestly don't understand why you guys even. Why don't you? Never mind.
Why we provide experiments for our explanations and claims? Fuck, man, I don't know why we do that either.
No, you guys don't. No, you don't.
Can I join
I
in for
think
1
it's
second and say
there's
one
nothing
thing
wrong with
quickly?
Bio bringing this experiment up and saying, here's this experiment where they tested to see how much a person could feel. Now, I don't understand what they were doing in the experiment because I couldn't hear it or whatever, but it doesn't matter either way, right? It doesn't mean that it's moving. It doesn't mean it's not moving. And he's already said as much. I think your argument is it's not true that if the Earth was moving, you would feel it, which some people say, right?
That's exactly. I'm attacking that argument that some flat earthers make. Yes.
So what were they doing in the experiment? They were moving someone at 0.7 Gs. Is that right?
No. So I'm still trying to decipher it because I'm not a doctor. Perhaps Brian Beck can take a look at it. But essentially, they're attaching probes to the vestibular system and something very specific, the otolith afferent. And that was the first one that was tested with a half hertz oscillation, and it was across all three axes.
Yeah, I think you fall down a little bit. I think you fall down when you can't explain exactly what they're doing in the experiment, attaching probes and stuff. Is it directly translatable to what we're talking about?
I'll tell you what I
I'd like
think
Can I
they're
jump in?
doing.
You're telling me you have
In
an
the
experiment.
experiment. Hold on,
Hold on a
Jimmy.
second. Yo, I
I'll tell
haven't.
you
Hold
what.
on. Let me
Listen,
get into 5 seconds, bro.
hold
Bro,
on. I'm gonna
no,
let
I
you
haven't
get
talked
in.
for a half an hour. Let me just say
You're
something real
gonna
quick.
move away from the
Guys,
point.
guys,
He's
guys,
providing
hold
an
on, Elijah.
experiment. He's providing an experiment of us feeling acceleration, and he didn't move no one. That's a major problem.
Well, that's what I wanted to join in for 1 second, Jeremy. I can only give an example.
After me.
Hold on. Go ahead.
damn.
Go ahead, Elijah.
Oh God.
Only because I just went back and forth with you. Just let me go. So here's what I think a doctor would be doing this for. Vertigo and other disorders that disorient people because their vestibular system isn't working correctly. That's my assumption, because I don't think doctors are sitting around trying to figure out when, like, they wouldn't apply this to the movement of the earth. You already said as much. It has nothing to do with the movement of the earth. So that's what I think it would be used for in a medical sense.
That's fine, but
Perhaps.
side data.
Hold
you
on,
have
Checky.
is the
Hold on,
threshold.
Checky.
That's
Go
all.
ahead. Moya.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I just, as a personal experience, now I don't know, I haven't done a scientific experimentation on it, but I have been on, I own boats, and I've had my anchor down, and I've been sitting there, and all of a sudden I noticed the boat's pointing in a new direction. I felt no motion. Now, that
Okay, you
is
realize-
something that we all can agree on, that there is some speed at which we will not feel the motion, and we probably all experienced it in some situation.
All right, well, you need to bring something real. If you tell me you have an experiment where people can feel or not feel acceleration, but then you don't actually move anyone, that's a big issue. You don't think so?
Well, I just brought my personal experience. I've been on boats that were rotating. I did not clock the speed on it, but I do know that I was like, oh shit, how did I get in this position? I was in that position 10 minutes ago.
How many beers had you drunk at the time?
None.
I don't believe you.
See, if that were true, people wouldn't experience.
So let me just.
seasickness. There's no listen. There's no way you're not gonna feel. There's no way you're not gonna feel being. You're not gonna convince me that, oh, holy shit, I was in this direction, now I'm in this direction.
Right. So
Maybe you want attention.
Sure,
there's no point in which you wouldn't be feeling movement during that time.
You
Your
sure,
mic's going all
Elijah?
crazy,
Put
Elijah.
you in a plane. Put you
Elijah,
in a jet
your
plane.
mic's going all crazy.
Middle of the night,
Hold on,
above the
hold
ocean.
on, Chike. Hold on, Chike. Let me just
No,
say
why
this real quick.
should I hold on? I
This-
said
God
because I
damn,
want-
guys, hold
I
on.
want-
Elijah was having mic trouble. I'm not
Why?
sure he got out then. Did you get out?
Yeah, I didn't get everything out, but is this okay?
Yeah.
It's much better.
Okay, so here's the thing. We're talking about feeling movement. You cannot give me a situation where you're on a boat experiencing movement and talk about how you don't experience how you moved. That makes no sense.
What do you mean? I don't understand that. I was
What
on
do
a
you mean,
boat.
what do I mean?
It rotated at 360 degrees over a period of an hour, and I did not feel it.
Well, not 360 because then you're looking in the same direction.
But you
No,
felt.
you know what I mean. I
But,
rotated.
but there's no point. But
Yeah.
there's no point, like how I'm standing still right now, and I don't feel anything. Right? Like there's no point at which you were on the water and didn't feel movement.
Do you have an experiment where you actually move someone to test their threshold of how much
Oh,
movement
come
or
on.
acceleration
Sit on
they
a
had, or
chair.
no?
Sit in a chair with eye covered and let someone rotate it, and you tell, did you rotate right or left, or where is your heading now?
Okay,
You
great.
wouldn't be
Thank you, Chike.
able to.
Okay, great.
Very
so this guy who was
simple.
so this guy who was on a boat, right? So fine. Your anecdote can stand as an anecdote. That's fine. My question to you is, were you aware that you were going to test yourself to see if you could detect motion? You said to yourself, I know that this boat's going to move just because, in the past. So I'm going to sit here and just try to see if I can. So you didn't, right? So at the end of it, you said, I'm completely the other way around and I didn't even know it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pay attention and see if I can actually feel it. Did you do that?
Okay, we're up to the testing phase. Are you going to test it? Get on a chair and have somebody
Did
spin you
you
around?
do that? Did you do
well,
that?
No.
Okay.
I said no.
The way Bio had us
Right.
let on, I felt like he had that when he came in with his experiment.
I think he did, but
No, he
Yeah, it's
didn't.
pretty
They
good.
didn't.
I provided 2 of them. That's fine.
So one of them, they did actually move people.
No, the way that I'm reading it, no, I don't think so. There weren't movement. It was
You can
what
see
it seems
there's
like
a
is
big
electrical
flaw.
signals into the vestibular system. I think.
Would you can see there's a big flaw with this when we're
no,
testing?
no,
You
because
don't
all
think it's
of the,
an
all of
issue
the,
when we're testing?
no, all these things boil down to electrical signals in your head. But I'm trying to get more
checking
information.
to see if people can feel. So we're checking to see if people can feel acceleration, and we're not actually accelerating them, and you don't think that's a problem. This is the science.
No, I
you
don't.
do.
No,
This is the
I don't.
science you do. This is why you guys
because
talk at science.
I'm not a doctor, and I don't have an expertise in the vestibular system, so I'm
You
trying to
guys-
read more into it. I can understand the conclusion, and I can understand the rates that they give because that's physics. But as far as the medical side of it, no, I don't have a great.
Well, we're not asking you about the medical side. We're asking you. Listen, okay. Let me ask you this way. And you guys, if this is kind of away from the point, and we want to stick to the current point, then that's fine. You could just ignore it. But this is what I would ask. So, okay, there are certain movements that the human body cannot feel. Is there any apparatus that can pick up this movement that we wouldn't be able to feel?
Yeah.
He doesn't know because he didn't actually move. Elijah, he doesn't know.
Can we take it? Then can we take this device somewhere on the earth, put it down on the earth that, from my reference, seems stationary, and pick up this 0.07 Gs?
Elijah,
Well,
he
I'm not
doesn't
saying
know
it's
because in his
0.07 of
test,
the Earth, but yes.
in his test, he didn't actually move anyone, so he doesn't know.
Right. So yes, we do have a device or devices that we can seemingly put it where it's not moving in any direction and that it's stationary, and then pick up this angular acceleration. Yes.
although the 0.7 was a threshold, not the actual measurement of what Earth is experiencing.
Right.
Does any flat earther know how those devices go?
The 0.7 wasn't a measurement of anything because you never moved anyone.
Nonetheless, it was described as being a measurement.
What do you mean, nonetheless?
No,
nonetheless, it was the threshold.
No, I think it was movement.
They
I think it was movement. I have to go through a few different articles within this.
They
I commend you,
stimulate.
Kyle, on actually bringing up an experiment, even though it's not applicable to this situation. Because I don't think anybody's ever asked for this before. Said, "Show me the experiments that prove this vestibular that we wouldn't feel the motion." Has anybody ever asked for that before?
Stacy did. That's why I provided it.
Okay.
But it's a false equivalence. It's got nothing to do with the claim of the rotation of the Earth, like Jeremy pointed out, or Elijah that pointed it out. This has got nothing to do. It's not an equivalence.
Yeah.
It's addressing a specific argument. That's all.
What's the
not.
tool? What's the tool that you said that you can use if you just set it down somewhere and leave it go? It'll detect this 0.7 G.
Well, again, I'll say 2 things and I'll make it quick. The 0.7 G is not the Earth rotation. Fuck. Can we please get away from that notion? The second thing is a gyroscope, obviously. Ring laser.
A gyroscope, which maintains its rigidity in space.
No, a ring laser gyroscope.
Unless it's affected by temperature, vibration, who knows what else.
Everything is affected by those. So you do want to have it in an air conditioned.
Now, welcome to Flat Earth. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Is that it? Is that it, Travis?
Anybody listening? Yeah, absolutely.
You're on one today. You're doing great.
Absurd.
Everybody was all amped and pumped up about Bob's data, and then he released it, and then now everyone ignored it.
You're a liar. Whoa. Because where I hang out is where Bob sometimes hangs out. Okay? And the one thing that I did pick up from that man is, so let me ask, is to ask people like you who say things like that. Okay, where's the data?
What? Where? I had a link for it. It's in this chat as well.
Don't tell me that it's in a Netflix documentary and I have to watch it.
Elijah, 1 second. Let me be very clear about what's happening. Jeremy, for a couple months, was hounding Bob about data, about more information for it. Bob, one day in this channel, I think soon after Brandon started running it, he provided the raw data from a Google Drive source, and then he even presented the challenge. I don't expect anyone to be able to decode this information, blah, 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 whatever. Within about 7 or 8 hours, the Autards and Gems channel, ran by Autismo, deciphered all this information, graphed all this information from the raw data, showing plus or minus 2 degrees of 15 degrees acceleration, angular acceleration.
I got the data sorted out within a matter of a day.
Well, you didn't. Other people.
I did. I made it happen.
It was more like a week. More like a week, Jeremy.
But anyways,
either way,
there was a bunch of timestamps of different times that he performed the experiment, and I believe he did it between 10 and 12 different times, and the durations ranged from like 7 minutes up to like 25 minutes, something like that. But it's showing this angular acceleration plus or minus 2 degrees. Yeah.
Sometimes the Earth rotates at 18 degrees an hour. Sometimes it rotates at 13 degrees an hour.
Sometimes
outliers, Jeremy.
Sometimes
it's because there's other things affecting the gyro.
No, the temperature was
there's
different.
clearly something affecting the gyro other than. It's because there's clearly something affecting the gyro.
See the data. You didn't see the data.
Of course I did. What do you mean I didn't see the
No,
data?
you didn't look at it.
Jeremy's the one who got Bob to give it to us.
That's true. That's true.
We reviewed it here on the show.
Yeah,
You're out of your pocket.
When I measure something, right? When I measure something, like I know this is a different form of measurement. Like saying, I put a ruler to something and it's 6 inches. It's going to be 6 inches, not plus or minus an inch or two. But I know that that's kind of different. So now when it comes to movement, right? When it comes to movement and measuring movement, it's intuitively, I wouldn't think that I would pick up one speed and then another speed.
Acceleration, not speed. Acceleration.
One acceleration and then another acceleration. I mean,
whenever you measure anything, there's always plus or minus involved. With a ruler, it's like plus or minus a quarter or an eighth of an inch, depending on the measurement.
When you go in a circle, is there sometimes do you sometimes go in 390 degrees or 300 degrees?
Depends on how accurate.
Just curious. Is that how circles work?
Depends how accurate.
Because that's how the gyroscope. That's what the gyroscope told us.
Yeah, I know. For the 10 minutes or so that his tests were running, like each iteration, they took multiple measurements. Like I forget how many per minute.
Once every millisecond, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all those measurements that are being averaged, and that's where
the data points were spread out. They were grouped at different rotational speeds. They were grouped.
So they what was determined, I think, through the Autards was the actual latitude that Bob was at, and it lined up with some type of office or some shit, or some type of home that he has. And then I think they also determined the temperatures at which the gyro was in. I think
so. It's impacted by temperature.
The temperature was in the data.
Temperature, vibration, a whole bunch of factors.
Pressure.
Were affected.
Sounds like a useless fucking tool.
It's amazing how you guys are all for Bob. Once you had
highly inclusive.
In order to claim that Earth turn is causing something, the rotation of the Earth, you have to prove that the Earth is rotating first. Otherwise, I can just sit here and say it measures the rotation of the Earth's core underneath the flat plane.
No one in history, y'all talking about a gyroscope. Well, I mean, where's your fucking Nobel Peace, right? Because
it's known information, man.
No, listen. No one ever in history of academia has ever proven that the Earth moved.
Yes.
Shit, Foucault did with his pendulum, and then he invented the gyroscope to do that.
Hold on, no, that hasn't.
I'll get it to you right now, man. Give me like 60 seconds, and I'll try to find the oldest scientific experiment measuring Earth rotation. Okay, is that what you're asking for?
I'll give you
proved it didn't.
And I'll give you like 2 or 3 citations that will be the antithesis of whatever you.
Personally, my argument totally debunks it.
Your argument is totally bullshit.
Yeah, but I don't have an argument. I'm just going to use hostile witnesses from the past. That's all I'm going to do. Meaning, I'm going to use a quote. I'm going to use a quote. I said no one in academia, right? Academia. No one in academia claims to know that the Earth is moving by way of any kind of practical usage of anything, of any kind.
Hey, Elijah, when you provide that quote, make sure you don't put a period at the end because he does say a few more words after it. Just a heads up.
I'm not. Oh, do you think I'm fucking just talking about Einstein? Because
I know that's what you were talking about right now.
Because I got 100 of them.
I'm sure that none of them are out of context and misrepresented.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not. You know why? Because you don't have to worry about that. Because as a scholar who's into the truth, if that's what you really are, and not a devil, then you would take my citations along with.
They're not citations; they're quotes. No one cares about quotes because evidence doesn't change.
Now, I mean, people know that this is the craziness of the ballers to not let you finish a coherent point. So I'll just start again.
You're not making a good one, man. The quotes don't mean shit in the face of evidence.
I'll just start all over that. So when I provide you a quote that is cited somewhere that you can actually go look at the source and read the full context, then you can challenge that the quote is taken out of context. But you must see the context first. And I guarantee you that I have.
All right,
because I wouldn't be wasting my time.
Yeah, beautiful. Do quotes change evidence? Are quotes evidence?
That's a red herring to my point.
There we go.
That's a red herring to my point, because my point is that no one ever claimed that there was any way of detecting that the Earth is moving.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a poster or a source right now.
That's just wrong, because Foucault did exactly that.
Here's a compilation of techniques from different years. Here's a compilation of techniques from different years. This was summarized in 2007, but they give different techniques and different methodologies that were first
summarized in 2007. So. Why is it summarized in 2007?
Because in 2007 these guys put this together. Fuck, man.
Yeah. Why in 2007?
It's JPL. Relax. It's JPL.
If I'm talking about academia, right, and I'm talking about, the body of science, right? You're talking about, it was summarized in 2007, and maybe there was some kind of fundamental, concrete information a few years before that. That's absurd.
You don't understand what I'm.
Elijah, who cares about that? Honestly, let's just move on. So, what in this paper do you think proves Earth rotation? Your bio.
It's just providing different methodologies as well.
No, you provided this as evidence. Point me to what in this paper proves that the Earth is rotating.
Oh, that proves? Oh, my go-to is Bob's data. But in this paper...
That's your go-to evidence for Earth rotation.
Oh, this wasn't
Bob's gyroscope data.
This wasn't go-to evidence. What the fuck?
That's what you just said. You said Bob's data is your go-to evidence for Earth rotation.
Oh, right now? Yeah, sure. That's fine. Sure.
That's fucking stupid.
Why? Can you articulate why?
I already have.
I know. Can you try again?
No.
Yeah, it's an interpreted device, mate.
You have
interpreted.
Yeah, but see that what I'm saying. You're gonna sit here and say that my quotes would be irrelevant. However, we just had a debate, like not fucking 2-3 months ago. And someone brought up the fact that this 15 degrees an hour is only a thing because they assume that the Earth is a plane and stationary, and they're picking up what's moving in the sky. And this is exactly what I mean, because you guys just choose to look at it another way. Well, that's arbitrary.
How would something in the sky affect the movement of the gyroscope that's sealed? Please tell me.
Well, how does the moon affect the tides? How does the temperature affect the gyro? Or the moon affect the tides? Good point.
moon affect the tides is easy. How about the tide?
How does the sun affect a gravimeter?
Excuse me, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the moon, the stars.
Are
the
you
sky
saying
affecting
that
the
things in the
gyroscope.
sky, celestial objects, can't impact things
Listen,
on the ground? Is that what you're saying?
Not a sealed
Listen, Paige,
gyroscope.
Paige, you guys are missing the whole thing. Paige just asked how whatever's going on up in the sky can affect something that's in a vacuum. Explain how gravity can do the same thing, please.
A gravimeter works by
how a
dropping a
rotating-
fucking ball in a vacuum.
I
You
want
fucking
you haven't
dolt.
explained how the sky affects the
No.
gyroscope.
You haven't explained how gravity can penetrate.
I'm not. That's you're asking a question with a question.
No. I'm pointing
You're
out the
asking a
fact.
question with a question. Ask a simple question. Please
I'm
explain
pointing
to me
out the
how the
fact-
sky affects a gyroscope.
In the same way gravity affects whatever it is in
gravimeter.
No.
Well,
Wrong. No.
Yeah.
Wrong.
exactly
Wrong.
the same.
Gravity
Happens
has no
exactly
effect
the
on the
same.
gyroscope. Sorry.
Exactly the
Really?
same.
Oh, is it made of some material that's immune to gravity? Tell us about this
Gravity has no
material that's not
effect on the
impacted by
movement of the
gravity.
gyroscope, other than the fact it's holding
Tell
it
us
to
about
the
how a
ground.
pendulum is made out of this material.
A pendulum is a different story.
Guess what, Paige?
A pendulum. Nope. Sorry.
You can't
You're
isolate the variable.
You're not gonna get
Paige,
me. Nope. This is nope. You guys
can't
are stretching
isolate
now.
the variable. You can't isolate the variable, just like Bob couldn't isolate whatever variable he was measuring. Something moved, yeah, but neither side can isolate the variable. I don't have a problem admitting that.
Yeah. Bob picked up something that the gyroscope, ring laser gyro, obviously measures something. You have to prove that the thing that you're claiming it's measuring is a thing before you can invoke it.
That's what it was made for.
Yeah, it's just measuring angular acceleration to a
It's a
certain
gyroscope.
degree. It's like having to prove this ruler measures length. We
No,
know that it does,
no.
man. It's what it's designed for.
No. That's not even close.
Wait,
That's not even close to the same.
It is.
It isn't.
Lane, hold on, left lane. You said that's what it was made for. What was it made for again?
Detect rotation.
Detect rotation. Right. It fucking detected rotation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It did.
Right.
Travis,
You can't prove what the cause was.
Yeah,
all
it's
you
sitting
did
on Earth, man.
All you did was make a tautology. It was created to do this. It did this. But you haven't isolated the cause. This is insane. You people are insane.
Textbook
Also,
affirming the
it's an
consequence.
electronic piece of shit.
Textbook affirming the consequence.
Guys are fucking insane.
You're projecting, Travis.
The fact that Bio said, "Oh, my number one thing is Bob's data," shows that either you're a fucking shill or you're stupid. So which
He's
is
a
it?
shill, dude. He's a shill, 100%.
That's just my go-to in this
stupid
context.
shit.
If I were having an actual scientific discussion,
Yeah,
with
you're a
actual
fucking idiot.
Scientifically honest people, I'd probably never bring up Bob's data.
So let's get honest. We're gonna bring it right back, Travis. Let's get back on one accord. Okay, the gyro has picked up, and Bob has picked up, and I know you didn't, Bob, but this 15 degrees of rotation. Okay, where do we experience this on the Earth?
All over the place. You experience this angular acceleration at a particular value of force.
Where? Give me a place.
Everywhere.
Give me a
Everywhere. Right
geographic
now you are.
location.
Right now you are.
Right now. Okay, how?
Correct.
How do I know this?
How do you know this? Because of measurement. I don't think your body can detect it though.
But here's the thing: I'm not experiencing anything.
Yeah, I know, because when we talked about the thresholds of what you experienced earlier, that's how it applies. And we're full circle. And we're full circle.
I know, but I'm looking at a butterfly right now, and I'm not experiencing. I don't see Coriolis effect.
Yeah, well, I'm looking out my window and I don't see you, so you must not exist, right? Or is that a bad comparison?
That is a very bad comparison, because the reason that I brought up the reason that I brought up the butterfly is because, okay, so I can't feel this movement, but I'm moving, and there's a second frame of reference, because whatever's not attached to the thing that's moving, me, attached to the Earth, the butterfly is not. And we're not going to say that angular momentum is conserved. So where is the Coriolis effect with things that I'm looking at, like now this debris that's falling that I'm seeing here in the city? Where is it? Where is it?
Oh yeah, I don't think your question was worth responding to.
Before you can even have the Coriolis effect, you're going to need two reference frames.
Yeah, I know. Elijah's bringing up multiple topics to shotgun effect rather than staying on one topic, one at a time.
No, it's the same. It's
that's
the same
why
topic.
I didn't respond to his question.
It's the same topic because you're saying the Earth is rotating, and I'm saying, okay, where do I experience this? You're saying, well, you can't feel it. You've never substantiated that claim because you never substantiated the movement, but you tried to use the gyro. So you tried to use the gyro, which claims that it's picking up movement in a second reference frame, even though it's attached to the Earth. Fine, fair enough. Okay, so things that are not attached to the Earth everywhere, like you said, I could be experiencing Coriolis effect everywhere, but your answer for not experiencing that either is conservation of angular momentum.
You guys hear how he's shotgunning everything? You hear that?
No,
it's not a very good way to
It's a bitch. You
It's all
can't
connected.
answer these questions, and so you
give
just
the whole,
cry fallacy.
just give the whole story of flat Earth, and when I don't respond, claim a win. Go ahead and do that. Shotgun everything.
Shotgun. No, just I can't handle all these
Because
questions.
when we're talking about this, we're not talking about Coriolis.
Okay,
How
so
is it a
just real quick, bio. Listen, bio. So since science doesn't prove anything, it could very well be that the gyroscope, right?
Let's move on from BioDuel. We got 20 minutes left. He's earned his paycheck tonight.
Okay, anybody else? Since science doesn't prove anything, the fact that the ring laser detected movement, it could be the ether, right?
If it was real science, you would do prove things, though. But and I know what you're saying. These guys say it doesn't prove anything. So yeah,
It's just
What
an
do you mean?
interpretation, guys. There is no rotation. It was never measured.
Thanks, Bob.
Exactly. Hey, Whitesword, how's it going, man?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Heard they got you guys all locked down there again. Is that true?
I'm in a state where it's not so bad right now, luckily. We're just waiting on the inevitable few cases before we get locked down, though.
Yeah.
You just gonna let it happen? You gonna take it laying down?
No, mate, not me.
Thank you. I mean, because the more people consent to this atrocity, look, they basically made it. Or they're trying to make it a mandate. There are a whole bunch of there are a whole bunch of protests going on here in New York City, but they're basically mandating, which is not a law, by the way, mandating that that it's called the key to the city policy. So basically, if I don't have a certain thing that'll make people feel safe, let's just say that, I'm not allowed the key to the city, though I live in the city. So what does that mean? Well, I can't go anywhere indoors. So what's next? I'm so dangerous. I'm so dangerous that I have to be quarantined and sectioned off. Is that what it's gonna get to? Is it gonna get like back then?
Yes, that's the plan.
And like, I can't believe it. We sat in school and we're like, oh, the Hitler's. Look at us now.
Yeah, who knows? Hey, Farming Ganja, your mic's open.
You know the other requirement they added in New York, right?
No.
They got another mandate that just. Have you ever heard of a midriff shirt that kind of shows your waistband of your pants and like your belly button stuff?
Yeah, that's what I wear every day.
Crop top.
Yeah, they're actually mandating that no shirts overlap your waistband of your pants so that everyone can feel safer being able to see if anyone has a gun on them now.
What?
Yeah, you know, anything to make everyone else feel safe, you know? They can tell you what to wear, they can tell you what to put in your veins. Whatever, right?
Not a surprise.
Yeah, I need to get out of here.
All right, see you later, Orlando.
I mean, I'm joking, guys, but...
Oh, no, not out of here. I mean, out of New York City.
Oh, yeah, I'd get out of New York, too, for sure.
I was just kidding about the midriff mandate, but it's the same thing. It's the same violation.
I think it's funny.
I thought you were fucking serious, dude. I can't tell what's satire and what's real anymore.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's right. Yeah. No, you're right. There's lots of US citizens left the US after Trump got elected, and they went to New Zealand thinking that was a safe haven, and now they're all locked down like fucking like guinea pigs. It's pretty funny.
Surprise. That's hilarious.
Not a safe haven at all.
Yeah.
How is it not a one-world government? China proposed a policy to the World Health Organization that people use ventilators, and then the US picked it up. Word? Like last time I checked, like when you it might be a stupid statement to make, but just because we're petty, right? I'm not taking your advice, bro. Next time I see you, I'm pulling a bullet in you, but I'm not taking your advice because we're enemies, right? That's Joe Biden's stance against China. He's been talking about them for I don't know how long, but you're going to accept this recommendation from China, and lo and behold, 9 out of 10 people that were hooked up to these ventilators died.
Well, you guys, we got about 10 minutes left on YouTube. As much as I want to talk about this, I don't want us to get kicked off.
Let me back off.
Yeah, we're getting probably close to the line.
Yeah, good old Airy. Thanks, Airy, proving the stars move and not the Earth. There is proof of no rotation. There is no proof of rotation, but thank you, Airy. Take that to the grave.
Thanks, Bob.
What did Bob do?
Yeah, he got it done too. Netflix.
You got what done?
With his gyroscope. It was not 15.04.
No,
the glove
he clearly demonstrated. He clearly demonstrated the faulty device. It's recording some sort of movement when it's fucking stationary. It's fucked. Doesn't even work. It's not even consistent movement.
Oh shit!
Prove that wrong, fuckers.
That was fucking brilliant. Nice work.
I like it.
Yeah, well, all the mechanical ones, as precise as they claim they are, don't show anything. Yet this magical fucking, light one shows exactly what they need it to. What a fucking joke.
Yeah, because we're
Your
all...
balls are pretty
Does
funny,
anybody
though.
claim
Your stories are good.
that the mechanical ones are precise? I don't think the mechanical ones are precise. They have very low precision. Yeah, because they.
I thought they worked just fine for doing everything they needed to do up until they claimed they couldn't.
Oh. Well, they have
And now all of a sudden it don't work.
No, they force they work, but like there's one on your phone, right? There's one on your phone, and there's noise that's included with it. The same way with the mechanical one, there's noise included with any of these instruments, and that amount of noise, if it's larger than the reading you're trying to, find, then it's just not capable of, measuring that rotation. And these one on your cell phone can't do it. Most mechanical gyroscopes can't do it. You have to have devices more precise than that. That can pick up much slighter rotation without all that noise.
Oh God!
Of course, with calculations and interpretations. Of course you do.
Jesus, Kosho.
But there lies the problem.
He said, "Jesus, Kosho."
The problem is that you guys all just agree with each other that the 24 or the 15 degrees per hour that was found on the gyroscope was faulty, even though that correlates exactly with what the Earth would be rotating if it were rotating. I mean, isn't that odd that all the rotation rates are exactly
No, it's
correct?
not odd.
Like,
It's not odd at all.
correct.
The fucking sun goes around in a circle. How many fucking degrees an hour does it move?
Exactly, but the gyroscopes don't measure other objects. It measures the objects.
Oh
that
yeah, I know. I've been
attached
told.
to.
I've heard that story. Too bad you can't fucking pin it down to a variable that affects this gyro. If only you could prove that the Earth was actually fucking rotating, then you could say that was the cause.
But hang on, Airy proved that the stars are rotating. We've already got this. Fuck.
Oh, see?
It's not
Yeah,
even
we're
a
done.
debate. Airy.
Yeah, be very afraid of the quotes that Jeranism has compiled, because I'm coming for you with them in the coming weeks.
Oh,
Thank you.
Jeranism's good. Jeranism's good, yeah.
Has he been doing a new research, or is he just putting out his old stuff? 'Cause
No,
he
it's,
used to do
it's very old and no one's picked it up like at all ever. And it's like the best thing since sliced bread. It's the first thing that made. Well, see, I came to Nathan's and I wasn't scientifically literate. The only thing that I had was my logic, and it wasn't until like I heard what they were saying, but I didn't understand. I was getting there, but when I saw Jeranism's video, I at least said, "Oh yeah, 100%. They're lying about what these people are saying. Can't be a globe."
That is a perfect segue. I don't know if you guys saw my yeah, and I know what you mean. It takes a few months before it clicks in when you first hear this shit. But here, I'm sharing my screen. I don't know if you guys saw today's thumbnail, but this is my opinion. When you're first in flat Earth, when you're on the globe, you are on the peak of Mount Stupid. The higher you cling to it, the higher you up are on that peak, the Dunning-Kruger peak of Mount Stupid. You're so fucking confident, and you're fucking dead wrong. And then you get into flat Earth, and you learn more, get down here into the Valley of Despair, start learning more. And that's the only way you can move over here, folks. That's the only way, Globers, that you're going to ever get down off of Mount Stupid is to drop this globe bullshit and just come on down. We've been waiting for you over here for a long time. It's not that bad coming down. It's a little bumpy at first, but we'll help you up. Okay? So that's my invitation to you guys. We're here to help you guys descend Mount Stupid.
Well, before we end the show, can I share my screen and present something for fun? It's just fun. It is a clip from an anime series, Hunter x Hunter. I don't know what the YouTube rules are, but it's probably like a 2-minute clip or less. Is that doable?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. Now, this is going to be fun. You don't have to take it serious, but it is interesting.
I know exactly the clip you're about to show, and I showed it to my girlfriend because Netflix actually just uploaded the finale of Hunter x Hunter like 2 days ago. So you can show anyone you want. Just tell them to watch the last episode of Hunter x Hunter on Netflix.
Right? Am I sharing? Hold on. Okay. No, not yet. Okay. All right. Now, I mean, this is fun. As a matter of fact, if you're into Disney, just look at all their old stuff. It'll be just as fun as this. But I digress from that. Where did I put it in my downloads? No, which means it's somewhere in my history. Bear with me.
You're down all sorts of rabbit holes, aren't you?
If you need to search, you can probably search like Hunter x Hunter World Tree.
Found it.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, it's 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Let me
you can probably find the part.
Shave some of that off. All right. Perfect.
Okay, I think we're in the right spot.
本当の世界中は
Matter of fact, let me go a little bit.
だがこの木の真実は成長の止まった若木だ。栄養が足りなくてこれしか育たなかった世界樹なんだ。本当の世界樹はマグマを吸って山脈に根付き大気圏を越えてなおでかくなる。この世界の外側で。 この世界って。お前もよく知ってる世界地図さ。
The world map you're familiar with.
お前や会長が戦ったアリも外側から来た外来種。学校じゃ教えてくれない真実だ。常識のある大人はあえてパンドラの箱に触れまいとしている。
Just to keep it safe so that Brandon doesn't get any strikes or anything, I just wanted to put it some commentary here. So yeah, he just said that the map that you're shown in school, what you're taught about, is not entirely true. It's not the real. It's not the big picture. That's what he's trying to put to his right here. So okay.
Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen.
とてつもなく大きな世界。
Boom!
ほんの一部だってことに。ある時代のある地域の選ばれた人間は、あっちに行ってきた記録を異物に残してる。わかったか？俺が欲しいものは今も昔も変わらない。目の前にない何かだ。
What is this show?
It's called Hunter x Hunter 2011. It's based on a comic book that was written in the late 80s, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also there's an older version which I think is better. This is good too, but there is an older version. I wonder what kind of I wonder what's in there, right? Because this is just remade. It's the exact same series, just remade.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah,
trying to beat off while people are in the house. Fucking what videos are you watching?
Hello, everybody.
All right, well, I'm going to shut the show down. Thank you very much to the panel. Globers included, thank you very much for joining. And I will come back and record. So if you're in the room all night, just be aware that you are being recorded. May or may not ever make it to YouTube, but I usually do keep it on all night. And if anybody who, especially those who didn't get to speak a lot during the show, have anything they want to say, go ahead. Now's the time. Feel free to speak up, and then I'll close it out. And thanks again.
Hoorah!
Thanks, man.
Anybody else? No?
Great
All right.
show! Another good show, man.
That's what I was waiting for, Chad. All right, thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Okay, thank you. Oh, shit, I got another super chat, didn't I? I'm a dickhead. Silent Zero, $5. They live with cognitive, I can never say that damn word. Cognitive dissonance. It's sad. Yeah, it is sad, but I don't think they do it on purpose. I just can't believe that some of these guys don't know what they're doing. That this is just accidental. That there's just not a chance. Some of them, yeah, but nah, fuck that. Anyway, thank you, Silent Zero. Shout out to I Believe the Earth is Flat, Dan the Waterman, The Science of Science, and Gourdzilla37. Thank you for supporting the show with super chats. Shout out to the mods. Excuse me. Shout out to the mods and everybody in chat for having a good night. And we'll see you tomorrow. See you later. Bye.
say you'll